The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, Maya is all about her dance training.
Magnifique, Maya.
And dreams of one day dancing the principal role in Swan Lake.
Ugh.
But she'll soon learn that the world of ballet is cutthroat.
If you tell anyone, I'll kill you.
It doesn't take long.
My name is Detective Carver, and I'm here to help.
For the feathers to fly. All Maya has ever dreamed of is dancing the lead in Swan Lake. And lucky for her, she's got the talent and look to make that dream come true. She's already the top student in the professional training program at Best Foot Forward Dance Studio, the best ballet academy in New York City.
Ugh. You're like really good. Oh, what? You agree? You think you're really good?
Don't hate, appreciate.
Bar.
Maya's entire life revolves around the studio. Her friends are there, and even her boyfriend, Nicholas, a fellow dancer.
Every class, she's like, oh, Maya, je t'adore, je t'adore. Whatever. So the girls and I are going for vegan tofu bowls. Come on, loser.
Oh, actually, I got a thing.
Oh, yeah? With Nick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, don't let me stop you from your pas de deux.
Gwendolyn, Café Noir.
In order to afford her dance training, Maya lives at home with her mother, Brenda.
Hi, Maya, honey. It's Mom. Are you at the bus station? Do you need a ride? Do you need a pickup? Is Nicholas driving you home? Give me a call and let me know what's going on, okay? Love you. Maya, where are you? It's your mother. Call me.
Several hours and many messages later, Brenda is frantic.
Hi, I'd like to file a missing persons report for my daughter. 6 hours.
Look, I'm a dad of 2 amazing daughters, so I get that 6 hours is an eternity for a parent when their kids are missing. But if we took a missing person report every time someone was AWOL for more than a few hours, anybody whose phone dies would come home to find the police on their doorstep. So we wait 24 hours to make sure the person is really missing, or find out they've run off to shoot The Bachelor without telling anyone. Seriously, that actually happened.
The next morning, there's still no sign of Maya.
Nicholas,
Hey, Miss Sar.
have you heard from Maya?
Not since yesterday when we agreed to drive to class together today.
Well, she never came home last night, and I keep calling and calling her phone, and she's not picking up. Well, did she tell you that she was gonna come home last night?
She did talk about some big secret meeting. She said it was for a project that would be her break, but she couldn't talk about it yet.
Something's not right.
Even if Maya's working on a big project, why would she not come home? She's a driven athlete and an artist who's got her eye on starring in the New York City Ballet. That's not someone who just up and disappears. The idea that Maya would ruin her routine and worry her mom like that is just too hard to believe. See what I did there? Too?
Gwen, I need to talk to my daughter. Is she here?
She's not here. She didn't come to class today.
She skipped class?
Gwendolyn, I'm finished! Sell it to free!
Maya was talking to Teresa yesterday. Maybe that would help.
Vite, Gwendolyn, vite!
Brenda knows there's no way Maya would willingly miss a dance class.
Teresa, do you know where Maya is?
How should I know? I mean, I tried to get her to hang out with me yesterday, but she just wanted to, like, Netflix and chill with Nicholas. Which was weird, because when I left, she was just at the bus stop talking to some girl.
A girl? Who?
I don't know. She was bundled up. It was hard to tell.
It's now been almost 24 hours since Maya dropped off the earth, and now there's a mysterious woman in the mix. With my years of experience at the FBI, I can tell you that as each hour ticks by, the chances of finding someone alive drop. But at this point, we know Maya's either run away and doesn't want to be found, or she's danced her swan song and not on the stage.
As soon as 24 hours have passed, Brenda rushes down to the police station to file a missing persons report for Maya.
No one's seen her, no one's heard from her. This isn't like her, and I'm beyond worried.
What was your daughter wearing?
She had a pink sweater, blue ripped jeans, black and white jacket, and I think she had her white sneakers on.
Brenda also shares Nicholas and Teresa's information about Maya's secret meeting with the woman at the bus stop.
Did Maya display any unusual behavior leading up to her disappearance?
Actually, there was a weird phone call she got the other night.
All this information about meetings and calls might sound like detail overload, but when it comes to a missing person, you never know what the detail is that'll crack the case. That's why everything matters, no matter how small it might seem. If you want police to perform and find your loved one, remember they can't do it solo. We're an ensemble. I mean, we're a squad.
Brenda tells Detective Carver that she and Maya normally share everything with one another, which is why this call stuck out as unusual.
But which season is this?
I think it's season 5. Hello? Yeah, she's like right here. Yeah. Can I call you back?
What was that about?
Nothing. Teresa just had a dance question.
I should have made her tell me what was going on, but I didn't want to be an overbearing mom, you know?
I find a lot of parents want to be their kid's best friend and not pry into their personal lives. Believe me, I get it. But it's important that that not get in the way of checking up on their safety. If something feels wrong, ask about it. Even if that means you get some Heather Chandler attitude pointed your way. What, you think I haven't seen Heather's? I'm the one who got my daughters into it.
Do you know Gwen?
Yeah, of course. She's the receptionist at my daughter's dance school. We've known her for years.
Detective Carver has traced the call Brenda reported to Gwen's cell phone.
No. Nicholas, on the rhythm, please, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Ready, and 5, 6, 7, 8.
For years, Gwen and Maya danced together in the children's program. When they auditioned for the professional training program, though, Maya was accepted, going on to excel, while Gwen was rejected. In order to continue on with the school, Gwen took a job as a receptionist.
Magnifique, Maya! Oh, your radiance is blinding. Gwendolyn, watch Maya's form. If she does like her, perhaps you can be in the training program too, instead of sulking at your desk eating fries all day, huh? Mwah, mwah.
Wait. Petronella, the former prima ballerina and the head of the school, is Gwen's mother. Now that's a twist even I wasn't expecting. Probably because Petronella treats her daughter like a cross between a servant and a pet. No wonder Gwen is caught up in this world of dance. Excelling at it is the only way to win her mother's approval. But it's too bad it's the only path Gwen sees, because her real talent seems to be in art. Life is hard when your desires or your mom's desires for you and your talents don't line up. I was lucky in that way. I have no talents, so I didn't have anything to worry about.
Reverence. Thank you, ladies. Yes. Gwendolyn, stop lurking about. Get back to your desk.
Yes, Mother.
Based on Brenda's information and Maya's phone records, Detective Carver decides it's time to ask Gwen some questions. But when he goes to her apartment, he finds no one home.
People think policing is like what they see on a TV show, but we actually have a lot of protocol to follow, rules. So while Detective Carver needs to find out what's going on, he can't just break the door down or search the apartment to find out. So it's time to tap, see what I did there? Into some good old-fashioned detective work and find Gwen.
Detective Carver heads to Gwen's home away from home, the dance studio.
Yes?
Are you Gwen?
I'm no receptionist, sir. I run this school. And I was a prima ballerina in this nation for over a decade.
I need to speak to Gwen.
She called in sous la météo. Sick.
While at Best Foot Forward Dance Studio, Detective Carver decides to dig into the nature of Maya and Gwen's relationship.
How often did Gwen and Maya spend time together outside of school?
Maya hated Gwen. I mean, have you seen that girl? She goes shopping at the Goodwill, and she's always shoveling fries into her mouth from that place down the street. Yeah, as far as I know, they could never be friends.
Detective Carver checks for Gwen at her favorite fast food spot, learning she eats there 3 times a week, always ordering the same meal, a double cheeseburger, fries, and a large strawberry shake.
I got to see Maya dance today. She's gonna be famous soon, and I'm gonna be right there by her side. She can't do anything without me. She once said that I am like a cake filled with rainbows and smiles.
As far as the employees at the fast food restaurant are concerned, Gwen and Maya are best friends.
That's odd. Why do Maya's friends think she doesn't care about Gwen at all, and the staff here think they're BFFs? Someone's lying, and that tells me there's more to this dynamic than meets the eye. Is it possible the women are covering up an even closer relationship, one Maya doesn't feel comfortable admitting to? Maybe Gwen and Maya ran off together, or Gwen helped Maya disappear. Either way, the key to the truth is going to be Gwen.
Detective Carver returns to Gwen's building, but once again, she doesn't answer the door. This time, he gets her keys from the superintendent.
Gwen? I need an ambulance at 210 Pinewood Crescent, apartment 17.
When you're dealing with someone as beautiful as Maya, everyone assumes butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. But what if, like her dream role, Maya's got a dark side? Maybe this black swan isn't the victim here, but the killer who's flown the coop.
Gwen is still alive, but just barely.
Hold on, Gwen.
Turns out Gwen is diabetic, and it appears as though she hasn't been taking her medication, which would explain her collapse. Detective Carver also discovers a journal filled with all of Gwen's thoughts and sketches.
Okay, this is way beyond a regular journal. It's a window into Gwen's mind. And all you can see in it is Maya, Maya, Maya. Maya's the best dancer that ever lived and more beautiful than the ballerinas in music boxes. I get looking up to someone, but Gwen's obsession could easily turn into stalking, or even worse.
In her journal, Gwen admits that the only reason she took the job at Best Foot Forward Dance Studio was to stay close to and impress her mother, Petronella.
Oui. Oui, Maya. Très bien. You are like the daughter I never had.
As Maya became the top student in the professional training program, she also became #1 in Petronella's heart.
It's no wonder Gwen set her sights on Maya. Petronella all but said that she'd love her daughter more if she looked like Maya, danced like Maya, made friends like Maya. Gwen feels like if she could just get close to Maya, she could get all the things that Maya had, including Petronella's love and respect.
Gwen did everything she could to wedge her way into the rising star's life.
Why would she even say that like that, you know? Like, it's so stupid. Anyway. Come on. I'm so excited for tonight. It's gonna be so great. Oh my God, why are you in my shadow? I swear, I could punch you in the face and you'd think it was awesome.
Sorry, I actually shouldn't. I just, yeah.
When getting close to Maya fails, Gwen makes a new plan to transform into her, stealing away her success, friends, and Petronella's love.
Gwen may be focused on getting what Maya has, but I think there's another layer going on here. Revenge. Gwen is angry at Maya for rejecting her and for being Petronella's favorite. But by taking everything Maya has for herself, Gwen has an outlet for that anger and can conquer her arch enemy.
Soon, Gwen comes up with a scheme to get Maya out of the way.
What do you want now? My mom's friend saw a tape of you dancing, and he wants to talk to you about a performance he's directing. Would you be interested in meeting him?
OMG, that's like amazeballs. I mean, I guess that would be fine.
Cool. I'll set up a meeting. But you can't tell anyone. The show's still a secret.
Okay.
The next day, Gwen and Maya bus back to Gwen's apartment for the secret meeting.
Why couldn't we just have met at school instead of this dump?
Francois didn't want the news to get out that he was working with you. Have a seat. You know, someone takes a picture and then all of a sudden everyone knows that you have the role.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, he's running late. Would you like some food? I have some lasagna left over.
No, I shouldn't. Come on.
You should celebrate.
Okay, fine, but if you tell anyone, I'll kill you. You know, my metabolism is so fast, I don't even really need to follow the diet. But could you imagine if I didn't? The girls would treat me like you. That would really suck. You know, if you cut your hair, you would totally look like a British dude. When is Francois gonna get here? Any moment now. I just gotta go to the bathroom. Oh.
I've heard that point shoes are murder, but I always thought that was on the feet. It's not over until the fat lady sings, right? That's opera.
Gwen's journal and its tale of Maya's murder is disturbing, but Detective Carver has no proof Gwen's words are anything more than a twisted story.
It's possible that this is just a fantasy, but I don't think so. Because here's the thing, fantasy isn't usually so detailed, but you can't arrest someone without proof. And we can't even prove that Maya's dead, let alone that Gwen killed her. That means Detective Carver's got to piece together what really happened to Maya the day of her disappearance.
When Detective Carver searches the rest of Gwen's apartment, he makes another startling discovery. A birth certificate in Maya's name, and the receipt for a storage locker.
Maybe the underlying ideas in Gwen's journal are true, but she decided to hold Maya hostage in a storage locker instead of killing her. I hope that's the case, but no matter what happened, I'm certain the key to discovering the truth about Maya's disappearance is in that locker.
Maya? My name is Detective Carver, and I'm here to help.
Gwen's obsession is even deeper than we thought. I mean, think how long she spent putting all this together. When you got someone who's that absorbed, it's only a matter of time before someone ends up behind bars, dead, or both.
Detective Carver sends Maya's body out for an autopsy and discovers that she was dosed with Rohypnol, then beaten to death with a wooden end of her own point shoe.
Now we've got a body, a murder weapon, and a motive, all of which paint a pretty clear picture of our resident artist Gwen as Maya's killer.
I just can't eat right now.
Just my girl.
As soon as Gwen regains consciousness, Detective Carver is right there to confront her with his findings.
Oh, Detective Carver, how nice to see you. Comment pouvons-nous vous aider?
I'm gonna ask you some questions, and I need you to be 100% truthful. Do you know Maya, Gwen?
Yeah, we're best friends.
We found your journal, and it tells a completely different story.
That thing, it's just silly fiction. It's silly fiction. I would never do anything to hurt Maya. I love her.
We also found your storage locker and Maya. It's time to come clean.
She deserved it. Everything just gets handed to her. She's not worth any of that. She never had to work for anything in her life. I worked for everything all the time. And you didn't love me anyway. And he hit her with a shoe.
Faced with the truth of what she's done,
So awful.
Gwen confesses. She tells Detective Carver that Maya was a mean girl.
Oh my God, why are you in my shadow? I swear, I could punch you in the face and you'd think it was awesome.
So Gwen decided to recast herself as the lead. But before she could step into her role, Gwen had to eliminate the original Maya. And make sure no one would find her body. As soon as that was taken care of, Gwen intended to move on to the next phase of her plan, transforming herself for her new role, Maya. She ordered a birth certificate for her new identity and planned to run away to the other side of the country. There, she'd have a series of plastic surgeries before pirouetting into the limelight, winning fame, success, and love as Maya 2.0.
It doesn't take an expert to realize that Gwen is very disturbed. Maya may have wanted to dance the lead in Swan Lake, but Gwen took the story and made it her reality, transforming from shy girl to black swan. But she didn't realize that you just can't decide who you want to be. Trust me, I know. Because if I could, I'd be young Clint Eastwood right now.
Gwen pleads guilty to Maya's murder and is sentenced to life in prison.
I always say that you never know what people are thinking, and this is the perfect example of that. Gwen seemed like the quiet girl who would never hurt a fly. But underneath that, you had a stalker who would go to any extreme to get what she thinks she deserves, a perfect life and her mother's adoration. And that's why, dancer or not, when it comes to other people, you gotta stay on your toes.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, Las Vegas is a land of excess. Big casinos, fast cars, and pumped-up bodybuilders. Two muscled-up trainers dream of riches only their clients have. But one man's dream can become another man's nightmare.
In the van. You got it. Champions train, losers complain. Keep going.
Big Guns Gym is where you go for jacked up trainers and tight spandex shorts.
Good work, man. Good work. That's how we do it here.
Biff is Big Gun's #1 trainer. He gets you ripped in no time at all.
That was the first set. We got 2 more to go.
Butch is Big Gun's #2 trainer and Biff's best bud.
Quit it, Biff. I'm gonna lose my concentration.
Come on, man. I know you're gonna laugh. I know it.
I hate it when you do that, Biff.
Oh, I'm just all love. I'm just playing with you, brother.
But Big Guns isn't just a gym with heavy weights and awesome trainers. With the right connections, you can get your hands on illegal steroids and other narcotics.
Okay, wow. So here we've got 2 rocket scientists with all the muscles and spandex to prove it, and they have no problem taking illegal steroids in front of a crowded gym. With 25 years of experience fighting crime, I can tell you that when people are willing to break the law over small-time stuff, they're usually willing to up the ante at some point.
Biff and Butch are obsessed with money. Biff was just released from county jail for petty theft and is on probation.
See that guy's car? It's crazy expensive. He says he has a pet Jaguar. I want one of those.
But that isn't stopping him from cooking up new get-rich-quick schemes.
Why don't we just sell more of those phony diet pills to our clients? They're too dumb to know the difference.
Yeah, they're dumb for sure. We need something bigger, Butch.
Yeah, it's their clients who are dumb. I got it. Small-time criminals like Biff and Butch are always looking to make a quick buck, and they typically prey on people who trust them. So who better than their needy rich clients that already look up to them as trainers?
Biff takes on a new client, Jasper, who's made a ton of money developing gambling websites.
Keep going, Jasper. Champions train, losers complain.
With these new apps, ladies are gonna be all over me.
That's my man, big money.
Oh, big money is right. You have no idea how much.
How much are we talking?
More than you can imagine.
Jasper lets Biff in on a little secret. He's made a lot of his money selling illegal spyware that he hawks on the black market. Biff is ready for his next score, and Butch is all ears.
Yeah, he kept talking about how much money he has. Like, the guy wouldn't stop.
So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we take this guy to the cleaners.
You want to wash Jasper's clothes?
No, you idiots. I'm thinking we kidnap his ass, and then we get him to sign over his assets to us.
Oh, man. That's good, Biff.
You know what I'm saying?
Real good.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo.
So these 2 meatheads think it's a good idea to kidnap Jasper, a successful entrepreneur with a family. Sure, pawning fake diet pills to clients is one thing, but kidnapping is another. And then what? What? You gonna extort him for his money? You got a plan for that, guys? I doubt it. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this isn't going to end well for anyone involved.
Biff and Butch recruit their friend Lou from the gym to be the muscle in the operation.
Got Taser. Got everything we need. It's gonna be a piece of cake. Oh yeah, you don't talk. Not yes for yes, and no for no. Yes, that's my man. You got this, guys?
Yes, boss.
Yeah! Woo!
The Muscle Gang put their snatch and grab operation into motion. The plan is to kidnap Jasper once he exits the gym and heads to his car.
Forgot the ski mask.
You good, Lou? We got this.
There he is. Get him, Lou.
Get in the van. No! Get in the van. Yo, I just tased him. Oh! I'm sorry.
Being zapped with 120,000 volts from a taser hurts real bad. Poor Jasper. This is amateur hour with these goons. They are obviously totally out of their element.
Butch, we gotta go.
I'm trying, but my hands keep shaking because you tased me.
I'm sorry I tased you, but we gotta go now.
How do they plan to actually get Jasper to release his assets? My guess is that it involves something a lot more ugly and illegal than phony diet pills. Remember, boys, actions have consequences.
The Muscle Gang are holding Jasper captive in a rented back room of a warehouse. The plan? To get him to release his financial information so they can steal his money. The problem? He won't play ball.
This is way harder than you said.
Don't worry, I got this.
You ready to start coughing up the digits to your banking information? No. Okay. We're gonna play a little game called Break Every Single Bone in Your Body. No. Starting with your nose.
Nose!
You better start talking, or we're gonna break your ear bones next.
Yes!
We can do this all day. You better start talking.
Biff is used to motivating people as a personal trainer, but now he's playing at torture, which is something entirely more demented. If you make someone suffer long enough, they'll tell you that Santa Claus is real. Extracting information is a very specialized skill that requires patience, psychology, and intelligent reasoning. Those are all things that these boneheads don't have.
A week after being kidnapped, Jasper still hasn't revealed his financial information to Biff and Butch. But he's close to his breaking point.
I don't want to have to do this, but time's up. I'm gonna make a phone call, and your wife and kids, they're gonna get hurt real bad.
You hear that, Jasper?
Okay. Fine. Tell you idiots what you need to know.
We're not idiots. We're smart. Smarter than you.
Number 63726.
With his family under threat, Jasper finally gives Biff and Butch all the banking information they need to access his accounts.
See, I told you we're smart, idiot. I just tell them the account number and the password. We get the money.
They send the money over? Like in a truck?
I don't know. Hi, National Bank. Would like to get some money? Yes, please. Yeah, that's me.
And with a simple phone call, Biff and Butch drain Jasper's bank account.
Can we get it in hundreds?
Get 20s.
20s.
Yeah.
Hundreds and 20s.
Ones, make it range.
And ones. Yes.
Whoa.
Let's do this.
Cheers, bro. Yeah.
With pockets full of Jasper's money, Biff and Butch party like it's 1999.
Woo! Woo! Make that rain.
Check it out, Biff. Making it rain.
Woo! Oh, brother. Oh.
While hemorrhaging money all over the place, these morons keep Jasper held captive the whole time. They figure they might need him for more information if the funds don't continue coming in. But all good things must come to an end.
I know you're still there. Just wish you'd say something.
The gang has kept Jasper alive for 2 weeks, and he's running out of time.
He doesn't know what we look like.
Yeah, but he knows our voices. He can tell the cops for sure. We got no choice, bro.
Biff and Butch inject Jasper's system with enough anabolic steroids to take down an elephant.
Nighty-night.
Jasper signed over all his assets and is no longer of any use to the big guns gang. The reality is that Jasper is actually a massive liability for them, and if they let him live to tell the tale, he might help the police track them down. Remember what I said about actions and consequences?
I didn't like that steak last night. You think it'd be a little bit more salty for $100?
Once fully injected and dead, Biff and Butch dispose of Jasper's body in a nearby dumpster.
Yeah, maybe next time we get the $200 steak. Probably more salty.
But what Biff and Butch don't count on is Jasper's miraculous resurrection.
Help me! I don't know. But if it was me, I might have actually checked Jasper's pulse before I declared him dead and walked away. But then again, I'm not a raging roidhead with the IQ of a dumbbell.
Tell me what happened.
It was my trainer, Biff, from the gym, and his stupid sidekick, Butch. I recognized their voices. Nobody talks as dumb as those two. Bag over my head the entire time. They started pulling my toenails out.
Jasper tells police his tale, but it's so outrageous, and with his sketchy background, they file his complaint and tell him they'll get to it when they can. Fearing for his life, Jasper flees the country and goes into hiding in Mexico.
Jasper is smart enough to get out of Dodge. As much as Biff and Butch are laughably stupid morons, they've already tortured Jasper, threatened his family, and tried to murder him.
It's been a couple of months since Biff and Butch kidnapped Jasper and drained him of all his money.
I cannot believe we burned through all of that money, man. I hate being broke. It's worse than being a skinny little weakling.
Man, we blew through all of Jasper's money. We gotta come up with a new plan.
Well, tomorrow I got a new client. He drives one of those Italian sports cars.
Oh.
I think it's called a Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
I heard of those. They're super expensive.
I think we do one of those. Swap and grab like we did old Jasper.
Anything to get us back on top.
Anything.
So these guys still think Jasper is dead? Are they just that dumb or just that greedy? I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of both, but come on, they should be counting their lucky stars that the cops aren't already on to them.
Biff's new client, Oliver, was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He inherited his dad's casino and has been living off the winnings ever since.
It's a nice watch you got over there.
Yeah. That's a beauty, all right.
How much does something like that go for?
That's more than you can count.
Get back to the stretches.
Biff and Butch convince Oliver to come over for a business dinner. They claim to have a line on cheap slot machines for his casinos and want to make a deal.
That's the plan.
I like you guys as friends. As trainers, there's nobody better.
Damn straight.
You know it.
But I'm not ready to do business with you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that, Oliver. we're about to do business with you.
I don't know. Oh, sorry.
Butch, let him go, bitch. Butch, you've had enough. You killed him, Butch.
What? No, man.
Oh, wait. No, you killed him.
Instead of draining Oliver's bank accounts as planned, the Muscle Gang now have no choice but to get rid of his body.
What'd you do?
So the last time, they couldn't kill their guy no matter how hard they tried. This time, they killed the guy before they even squeeze a penny out of him. I guess Butch doesn't know his own strength.
Man, why do I gotta take his shoes off?
I'm the head of the operation. I'm dealing with the head, you deal with the feet. Come on.
This guy's feet smell.
Can you take his shirt off?
You get the pants. I'm not going there. Why are you using a hammer?
I don't know.
Grab the axe, would you?
Biff and Butch bury Oliver's dismembered body in the middle of the desert and dump his prized sports car nearby. Oliver's housekeeper informs the police that Oliver has been missing for a week, but he left his passport and dog Jackpot at home.
He never really leaves his dog Jackpot alone.
With no evidence of foul play or a crime having been committed, there's nothing the cops can do. When Oliver's sports car is found abandoned and him nowhere in sight, police officially open a missing persons case into his disappearance. Detective Kern contacts Oliver's neighbor, who claims to have met two big muscled men at Oliver's house the last time he was seen alive.
Biff and Butch. Big Guns Gym? Got it.
Hey, Biff.
Yeah?
What do you think lifting heavy weight? Screaming or no screaming?
Get out that power roar.
I think it helps, man.
Yeah, and of course, just like vitamin.
Biff and Butch's plan is to lay low for a bit and scan the news for anything about Oliver. Once the coast is clear, they'll return to their normal lives.
It sucks working out here.
Yeah, I know. Still nothing about Oliver, though. Stupid cops have no idea. I told you, man. No brain.
Yeah? You're always one step ahead, Biff.
I know.
Police then make a connection to a previous kidnapping that had been ignored because it seemed too far-fetched. In that case, the person being kidnapped claimed it was by two dumb bodybuilders with the names Biff and Butch.
Hello? This is one of those light bulb moments you live for as an investigator. Connecting the dots is what it's all about. So Biff and Butch are now the prime suspects in this case. Maybe the police won't treat Jasper like some whack job and take his story a little more seriously now.
Due to the similarities between Oliver's disappearance, who they believe to be at the hands of two bodybuilders, and Jasper's story of being kidnapped by two muscle men, Detective Kern contacts Jasper.
You're kidding me. He was your trainer at Big Guns Gym?
Yeah, I recognized his voice. His buddy Butch's too.
You're sure about that?
Positive. No one's as dumb as those two.
Unreal.
Police identify the same pattern: kidnapping a wealthy man that was Biff's client at Big Guns Gym with the goal of extorting money from him. Based on Jasper's written statement, the police obtain a warrant to search Biff and Butch's apartment.
It's a blank piece of paper.
Turn it around.
Search warrant and... You know what? Just, can you explain it in English?
It's called a warrant.
Okay.
It means I can actually look through your apartment.
Well, who gave it to you?
A judge.
Oh. So that means it's legal.
Yes, it's legal.
So we got no choice.
That's what I've been trying to tell you for the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
Is that new?
That?
Yes.
No.
No.
That, it was a couple of weeks ago, but...
Not brand new. New-ish.
Technically, no.
Yeah.
If you say so.
You're going into the kitchen. Do you want something to drink? Water, workout drinks.
Protein, banana, chocolate, whatever.
Multivitamins?
Mm-hmm. Gummies, pill form, chewable, whatever. Gummies, chewable. No.
You know what? That's just my gym bag. You don't even have. You can just leave it. Smells bad. I haven't washed it in a week.
That's some nasty stuff.
Probably even longer.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even think that's my bag. Is that yours, Butch?
That's not mine. It's not mine.
I don't suppose you know anything about this either?
You know what? I think we took the wrong bag at the gym. That's probably what that is.
There's a lot of people there.
I don't even know how that bag got in here.
Probably a mix-up.
I think there was a mix-up at the gym. You remember that guy who...
He has the same gym bag. Worked out right beside us. This happens. I've done it like twice this year.
Just keep talking, boys.
Should we call the police, maybe? Or... Well, it's...
What you got there?
That's interesting. This is strange.
Yeah, I don't know what that guy was up to.
I think this is a mystery.
We should call a lawyer.
We can do that legally, right? We can call a lawyer.
I know that if I were gonna kidnap and torture someone, I'd definitely leave all the evidence in my gym bag, in my apartment. I'd also make sure that I kept my dead victims' bloody clothes and their photo ID, just for safekeeping. I honestly don't know that I've seen a case with dumber guys than this.
Is this really necessary?
Yes, it is really necessary. Turn around, gentlemen.
Biff and Butch are arrested for the kidnapping and extortion of Jasper and for the murder of Oliver.
So Oliver was your client at Big Gun's gym?
No, he wasn't. He was Butch's.
So you're saying Oliver was actually Butch's client?
You know what? He wasn't either of our clients.
Is that your official statement?
Biff can't handle the pressure and agrees to give information in exchange for a lighter sentence.
You'll find Oliver's body about 20 feet from the Fulati. He buried it really deep.
How deep?
Deep.
Biff tells Detective Kern where to find Oliver's body, thinking they won't be able to identify it because he got rid of the fingerprints and teeth. But the authorities are able to ID Oliver's body when they match the serial number on his ab implants with his medical records from the cosmetic surgery.
I've seen a body identified dozens of different ways. Everything from DNA to dental records to x-rays of skeletal damage caused by psoriasis. But IDing a body through surgical ab implants to make your six-pack look more ripped? Now that's a good one.
Both Biff and Butch are found guilty of murder. Butch is sentenced to life without parole, and Biff gets 45 years.
Greed is one of the 7 deadly sins. These goons wanted to get their hands on some cash by any means necessary. If the police had just listened to Jasper when he first told them about his kidnapping, then Oliver would still be alive. I will say, this case definitely makes me feel a little bit better about letting my gym membership slide.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when a crusty spinster is murdered in her home, detectives have little to go on. Until someone starts to take on the victim's personality.
You minding my business?
And points the cops.
Do you believe in the afterlife?
Directly at the killer.
I know who killed me.
New Orleans, Louisiana, 2010. Firemen respond to a 911 call when neighbors notice smoke billowing out from under an apartment door. They quickly find the source of the fire, a burning couch. They also make a horrific discovery. The body is identified as 56-year-old Felicia, a nurse at the local retirement home.
Henry, back in your room. It's lunchtime. You're too skinny. You need to eat. Go on. Get.
Her abrasive, tough love style of nursing doesn't always sit well with her colleagues.
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
But that doesn't seem to bother her. Fear and grudging respect keep them quiet. Felicia prefers her own company to that of anyone else's and spends most of her breaks by herself.
Felicia's the kind of woman who doesn't suffer fools. She'll always tell it like it is, whether you want to hear it or not, and it isn't always pretty. It may be an efficient way to get the job done, but I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't win you a lot of friends.
Detective Alfred does his initial investigation and sees no sign of forced entry. After examining the body, detectives conclude that Felicia was likely sexually assaulted before the killer slit her throat. And while the apartment has been ransacked, there's no evidence that anything has been stolen.
There's a lot of evidence at the crime scene, but none of it is adding up. It looks like Felicia likely let her killer into her apartment, which means she knew him. But the motive doesn't seem clear. If it's a robbery gone bad, then what did they take? If it's a sex crime, then why did they toss the apartment? Either way, at least one thing is clear. The fire was an obvious attempt to destroy the crime scene.
The autopsy report reveals Felicia didn't have any carbon monoxide in her lungs, which confirms the detective's suspicion that the killer slit her throat, then set the fire to cover his tracks.
I'll be damned.
He also learns that Felicia was a virgin, which means she wasn't sexually assaulted.
Okay, well, this kind of puts a new spin on the 40-year-old virgin, doesn't it? Well, despite the fact that good old Felicia wasn't lucky in love, it's a solid clue for detectives because they can rule out sexual assault as a motive, which leads them with nothing. Nothing at all.
In an attempt to find out everything they can about Felicia's life, they track down her closest relative, her cousin Ray.
Hi, this is Detective Alfred calling. We're investigating the murder of your cousin Felicia.
He tells them Felicia was a spinster who had a very small circle of friends. And even at the retirement home where she worked, she mostly kept to herself.
Well, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Hoping to learn who might have a grudge against Felicia, Detective Alfred visits the retirement home where she worked.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about Felicia.
Felicia? She was, how do I put this? Focused.
So I've heard. Now, what were her routines like? Was anything strange about her?
It was like clockwork. Every morning she arrived 15 minutes early for her coffee. Same egg salad sandwich with tomatoes for lunch. Same afternoon cigarette breaks. Just enough time for 2 ciggies, she always said.
All right.
I can show you where she always took her breaks.
People have their routines, sure, but Felicia was highly regimented and she rarely strayed from her schedule, which can be a good lead for investigators. It not only makes it easy for them to track her movements right before she was killed, it limits the amount of people she may have had contact with. And that, my friends, if you follow my logic, limits the number of suspects.
Is there anything else you can tell me about her?
Just as Detective Alfred wraps up his interview, Letitia spots something strange.
Oh my God, it's her!
Who?
Felicia! It's exactly 2:15. That's when she would always go on break. And that's her damn song.
Her what?
The song she always hums.
Detective Alfred approaches a woman who looks strangely similar to his murder victim.
Excuse me?
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
Not only is she spouting Felicia's catchphrase, she sounds exactly like her.
I'm generally not a big believer in people rising from the dead or any of that mystical stuff. But from this angle, it looks like Detective Alfred may be looking at a dead woman walking.
Cheyenne is a nurse who works at the same retirement home as Felicia. And that's where the similarities end.
Hey, sugar, how y'all today?
Oh, good, thanks. You?
If God's in your heart, it's always a good day. Sweetie, I made some pralines for y'all. You better grab some before the next shift comes on.
While Felicia is crabby and crusty, Cheyenne is a ray of sunshine.
Yum. These are better than the last ones y'all made.
I put some extra butter and sugar in there and a little bit of nutmeg and some of my mama's vanilla.
She's been happily married for 20 years, enjoys singing in the church choir on Sundays, and doesn't drink anything stronger than sweet tea. And while Cheyenne knows who Felicia is, they work opposite shifts, and their paths rarely cross.
Hey, hon, you scrubs?
You minding my business?
But after Felicia's death, Cheyenne's sunny disposition starts to fade, and her husband notices some strange changes in her appearance.
I just thought you'd want something to drink, like perhaps some tea.
What you think this is?
I was just asking.
I ain't got time for this foolishness.
Cheyenne's colleagues also notice the change.
Good morning, Cheyenne.
Not from where I'm standing. You know, I'm sick and tired of all your cheerfulness and all your happy, happy, joy, joy foolishness. I'm at work, you're at work, and worse, we're here together.
You feeling okay, Cheyenne?
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
Not only is she starting to look like their murdered colleague Felicia, but she's starting to sound like her too.
Are you gonna move, or am I gonna make you move?
I'll move.
If you're anything like me, you're looking at Cheyenne and thinking, what the heck is going on? Here's a woman who barely knew Felicia, and she's basically taking on her personality now that she's dead. When people are under stress, they can exhibit personality changes. So maybe Cheyenne is in the middle of some kind of breakdown. That, or she's got an even sicker sense of humor than I do.
I ain't got no...
Despite the fact that Cheyenne has never touched a cigarette in her life, she begins to take regular smoke breaks at the exact time Felicia used to take hers.
Are you a man? Are you a man or a boy? Am I your wife or your mama? Make your own dinner for a change, fool. I'm going to the casino after work.
Nothing seems to crack Cheyenne's newfound hardened veneer until a friendly janitor crosses her path.
I'm so...
How y'all doing?
Get away from me. Get away from me.
So Cheyenne has gone from someone who's sweet as pralines and adored by all to a full-blown badass who isn't afraid of anyone. But she's suddenly terrified of a janitor who offers a friendly hello? This is obviously more than a stress-related issue. I'm no psychologist, but whatever it is, one thing's for sure. Cheyenne's got some serious issues going on.
Detective Alfred is frustrated by the lack of progress in the investigation until he receives a surprise visit from a local dentist in town.
How do you do, sir? I'm Dan.
Boy.
I wanted to talk to you about the murder of my wife's co-worker, Felicia.
Your wife, Norwell?
Well, no, but she seems to be really affected by her death. I think she might have some information.
Oh, really?
But before I go any further, can I ask you something?
Sure can.
I know this is gonna sound crazy, but do you believe in the afterlife?
Well, my mama was a believer, and my daddy thought it was hooey. So, I'm about 50-50.
I made a recording of my wife, Cheyenne, last night.
My name is Felicia.
As crazy as it sounds, I fear she might be possessed with Felicia's spirit. She's basically transformed into a completely different person. And I'm starting to get a little scared.
Cheyenne also reveals some surprising information about Felicia's murder.
I know who killed me.
So Dan here is claiming that Cheyenne is possessed by Felicia's spirit. As an FBI agent, you're trained to be skeptical, but it doesn't take much effort here. A genteel Southern woman being possessed by a dead spinster spirit she never even knew? Okay, tell me another one.
2 weeks after Felicia is murdered in cold blood, a frightened and anxious Cheyenne has taken a leave of absence from work, claiming she's sick.
Get away from me. Stop it. Stop what are you doing?
Hi, Cheyenne. I'm Detective Alfred. Your husband here tells me you may have some information on Felicia's death.
My name is Felicia.
This is serious business.
He's murdered me! He's murdered me! Help me, please!
Who?
Bruno Beaumont!
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Okay, I've seen The Exorcist. I get it. Either Cheyenne is channeling Felicia and pointing the finger at her killer, or she's a nutcase who somehow believes she's become a dead woman. Either way, she's pointing to a potential suspect, and at this point, with no other solid leads, detectives have no choice but to look into it.
After questioning Cheyenne's colleagues, they learn that Bruno Beaumont is a janitor at the retirement home where she and Felicia worked.
Here you go, Tish.
Thanks, Bruno. You're the best.
He's known by all his co-workers as a gentle soul who's always ready to lend a helping hand.
So it's at the dog track. Oh, amazing. You got to go. You have to go. So I had one dog.
Bruno is one of the rare people Felicia tolerated.
It was a real long shot. Starting bet was $1,000. And my Greyhound won. I just got me $3,000 that day.
Oh, I haven't been to the races in ages.
What?
Makes me want to go.
You should go. It was too much fun.
But as far as anyone knew, they didn't associate outside of work.
Hand, please.
Can I have a smoke?
There'll be no smoking in here, ma'am.
I ain't got time for this foolishness.
Suspicious of Cheyenne's accusations, Detective Alfred asks her to take a lie detector test.
Who killed you, Felicia?
Bruno, and he damn slit my throat.
In an attempt to catch Cheyenne in a lie, he feeds her false information.
How did Bruno break into your apartment?
He didn't break in, fool. I let him in.
Tripping people up with false details is a pretty good way for cops to figure out if a suspect is giving them the runaround. The problem is, it's not working. In fact, Cheyenne is giving investigators details about the crime that no one would know except Felicia and her killer. And this is getting creepy, even for me. By now, Detective Alford has got to be wondering if Cheyenne really does have a direct line to the other world.
Unable to prove Cheyenne is faking it, Detective Alford follows the only lead he has and takes a closer look at Bruno. He does a background check and learns Bruno's been arrested for shoplifting and domestic assault, but the charges never stuck.
Bruno, you've been bad.
Even if this guy hasn't been convicted of anything, this type of dodgy past is a red flag for investigators. So the next step is figuring out two things. Does the guy have motive and opportunity?
Zeroing in on their only suspect, detectives bring Bruno in for questioning.
All right, I understand that you've been a custodian at the retirement home for some time now?
Yeah.
You and Felicia ever see each other outside of work at all?
Yeah, I'd see her a few times. I'm a handyman, so I would go over to her house, fix some things. I do a lot of odds and ends for a lot of the single ladies I work.
Odds and ends, all right. Well, let's just cut to the chase here. Where were you the night of Felicia's murder?
Oh, yeah. Took my girlfriend out that night. Actually took her to the steakhouse, just down the street on Bourbon. Yeah, actually, you know what? Actually, I think I still have the receipt.
You still have the receipt?
Yeah, I like to keep all my receipts. There you go. Yeah, you could talk to her if you want. She'll tell you.
All right, I'll do that.
So at this point, detectives have got to figure out who's telling the truth. On one hand, Bruno had access to Felicia's apartment, but he also has an alibi. On the other hand, Cheyenne has details of the murder that by all rights, she shouldn't have. One of them's got to break, and it's Detective Alford's job to do the breaking.
Unsure who to believe, Detective Alford visits Cheyenne once more, hoping for a break in the case.
You is the daddy, fool. Kid number 6. Oh, Lord, trash. Why your sister don't mind her own business? Everybody's minding everybody's business, but...
Well, Cheyenne.
Why the hell you keep calling me Cheyenne? My name is Felicia.
All right. Is there anything more you can tell me about that night, Felicia?
Well, he stole my watch. That was my watch. That was my mama's watch, her mama before that. And he took it. It was gold with diamonds and red stones at every number. He killed me, and then that snake stole my watch. My cousin Ray can identify it.
Cousin Ray. Now, how can I get in touch with this Cousin Ray?
You heard telephones? Ray's number is...
She proceeds to give the exact phone number and address of Felicia's cousin Ray.
So this is starting to get a little spooky. I'm no sissy, but I will admit poltergeist kind of freaked me out. And the stuff Cheyenne's spouting seemed to be the facts that only Felicia would know. Either this lady is telling the truth or she's done her homework and she's an A student.
Detectives pay Bruno a visit at home.
All right, so let me get this straight. On the night of the incident, y'all went out for a birthday dinner.
See, I told you.
His girlfriend reconfirms their dinner date on the night Felicia was killed. But before Detective Alford leaves, he notices something that turns the case on its head.
Where'd you get that? Let me see that.
Yeah, I kind of got that for her when we went out, just to kind of commemorate the occasion. You know, she likes her jewelry. You know, great night out for dinner. Yeah.
That's Felicia's watch. Where'd y'all get it?
I bought it at a pawn shop.
Got a receipt for that?
I threw it away.
I thought you always kept them. I thought you were the receipt guy.
Okay, so let's recap. Stick with me on this one. Over here, we've got a guy with priors who may have just given his girlfriend a dead woman's watch. And over here, we have a semi-lucid psychic who's spouting details about a murder she had nothing to do with. This is probably where the saying, between a rock and a hard place, was born.
Looking to uncover the truth about the violent death of Felicia, Detective Alfred asks her cousin Ray to identify Felicia's watch. Ray sends Detective Alfred an email that seals the deal.
Nice try, Bruno. Nice try.
Detective Alfred has caught Bruno in a bold-faced lie. So here's where cops go in for the kill. I love this part. This never gets old.
Police up the ante and call Bruno down to the station.
Thanks for coming down again. Really do appreciate it. Now, before we begin, is there anything you'd like to get off your chest? One last chance?
No.
How about we get some fingerprints then?
I ain't got nothing to do with this, man.
Well, then you all got nothing to worry about now, do you? Well, what do you know? Looks like your fingerprints are all over the crime scene.
I used to go over and fix up for her all the time. I'm sure my fingerprints are there.
Sensing weakness, Detective Alfred plays his ace.
Would they be on the knife that was used to slit her throat?
No.
Really? Because I got something here. Tells me different. Does this sound familiar, Bruno? Why would Bruno want to kill you?
Because he had a gambling debt and I refused to lend him money.
Who's that?
That's your co-worker, Cheyenne.
How would she know that?
Is there something you want to tell me?
All she had to do was give me the money. That's all she had to do.
It looks like hearing Felicia's voice talking from the grave shocked Bruno into giving himself up. I'd never believe it myself if I didn't see it for myself. In fact, I still don't believe it.
Oh, yeah. I'll pay up. No problem, man.
Having gone into debt betting all his money on dog racing, Bruno's finally out of cash. And his bookie comes calling.
What, he wanted tonight? Oh, I don't know, man. No. Don't hurt her. Don't hurt her. I'll get it.
Bruno admits that the night of the murder, he shows up unexpectedly at Felicia's house.
Bruno, what are you doing here?
Hi. I need a favor.
Okay.
Bruno tells Felicia he's in a bind. He owes his bookie a wad of cash, and he has to pay up.
These people are bad people. I need anything that you can give me.
I ain't got no money for you.
I've seen rolls of cash tucked in every drawer of your house.
That's for my retirement. I can't lend you any money.
We've been friends. Listen, I need money. You can't give me anything?
You can shout out on me all you want. You're not getting any money from me.
When Bruno's pleading doesn't work, he threatens Felicia.
You need to go. I'm calling the cops on you.
When she refuses to give in, Bruno snaps. He kills Felicia. Then robs her. And attempts to cover up the crime.
Money is the most common motive for murder, and stupid criminals in desperate situations usually have zero impulse control, which means they wind up making mistakes and getting caught. Bruno didn't go there to kill Felicia, but when she refused to help him, he lost it. So instead of having to deal with his bookie, Bruno's got to deal with a bunch of cops that can put him away for good. These losers will never learn.
Bruno is found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. As soon as he's behind bars, the spirit of Felicia stops haunting Cheyenne and starts haunting Bruno.
No! 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 No!
Even if you don't believe in all this hocus pocus stuff, the clues given by this so-called possessed woman led cops to the killer. So in my mind, we're left with two explanations. She either outsmarted the cops and solved the murder herself, but was too scared to point the finger at her colleague, or she really was possessed by the spirit of the victim who used her as a medium to speak from beyond the grave. Look, you don't have to tell me it's cray-cray, like my kids say. Either way you look at it, justice was served. It might just make me a believer.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, life in Liberty, Texas is as quiet as it gets.
I'd like my favorite, a piece of cherry pie, if you would.
Coming right up.
Until a series of murders begins with human and mannequin victims.
What the heck?
Can police catch the killer before he strikes again? Or will the bodies pile up faster than a sneeze through a screen door?
Damn, this town's going to hell in a handcart.
Liberty, the small town with a heart as big as Texas. Life here is about the good Lord, good people, and good food.
Refill?
Thank you kindly, little lady.
The law runs deep through Sheriff Walker's blood. His daddy and granddaddy were both town sheriff.
So I heard them Wilson boys have been stirring up a little trouble.
Oh, yeah. They were as drunk as Cooter Brown. I found them up at the Henderson farm, tipping cows. I tell you, Dallas, these boys, they're a few pickles short of a barrel.
Oh, Sheriff, you're so funny. Oh, my goodness.
Sheriff! I need to be talking to you out here.
All right. Excuse me, ma'am.
So I'm crossing the road, right? And I look across the street, and I see something right there. You see? She's over yonder. I think it's Lady Bird.
Why do you think that?
I know her hairdresser. That's her cut in color.
Hey, I got it from here. You're going home now, yeah? Go on. Ain't that nuttier than a squirrel's turd?
When Sheriff Walker examines the body, he confirms that it's local wife and cheerleading coach, Lady Bird.
Happy Texas Independence Day, y'all! I'm Dallas. How you doing today?
Great, how are you?
I'm excellent.
A former NFL cheerleader, Lady Bird ran the PTA and the local Liberty Prayer Circle.
Oh, my. Oh, and Barry, I got the whole circle praying that ward of yours away. Jesus, take the wheel on this one.
The bruising on Lady Bird's forehead indicates she was bludgeoned to death. The body is still warm, suggesting that Lady Bird was killed within the last couple of hours. Sheriff Walker checks for physical evidence at the scene, discovering fingerprints on Lady Bird's ankle.
Gotta say, if I were going to bludgeon someone, I'd wear gloves. The fact that this killer didn't tells me this happened in the heat of the moment without much planning. Just more proof that we're looking for someone with major anger issues who could snap at any moment. You know, they say there's a monster in the heart of every man. In my case, it's the Cookie Monster.
Oh, ain't this just an ugly old thing? Who could have done that to my lady?
Sheriff Walker brings Lady Bird's husband, Buck, down to the station to answer a few questions.
Buck, I'm gonna have to ask you where you was this morning.
God, I can't believe you'd think that I did this to my wife. It just makes me madder than a wet hen.
Whenever a woman's a victim of foul play, we're gonna look straight at her husband or boyfriend. Why? Because in most cases, they did it. So guys, if we don't like being the automatic prime suspects, we, as a group, need to stop killing the women in our lives.
If you can just tell me where you was, I'd much appreciate it. I could get you out of here and back to grieving Lady.
I started work at the ranch at 6 in the morning, and I was there till you called.
Can anybody prove it?
Everyone. I was in the field in full view of the entire place.
Sheriff Walker calls Buck's employer, confirming that he was, in fact, working in the field that whole morning.
He was here till you called him away, Sheriff.
Oh, yeah, Well, nice talking with you, bud.
Same here.
Yeah, well, we gotta get out duck hunting sometime soon. Been a dog's year.
Love to, Sheriff.
See ya.
Now that's what I call an airtight alibi. You can't even go to the bathroom without a bunch of witnesses noticing you're gone. There's no way you could slip off, kill someone, dump the body, and then make it back in time. I mean, unless you're dealing with a kidney stone, so your bathroom breaks are long and... Oh, sorry, TMI. Sorry, getting old is hard. Anyway, I think Buck's eliminated as a suspect.
Sheriff Walker hangs his hopes on finding a match for the fingerprints found on Lady Bird's body.
Walker.
Before the results can come in, though, Sheriff Walker gets a shocking report. Another body has been found.
Well, ain't that just a big pile of horse manure?
This town has gone from never having a murder to having 2 in a matter of days. That tells me law enforcement has a serious problem on their hands. Or everyone here is living in a small town horror movie. Don't turn off the lights.
When Sheriff Walker starts to examine the crime scene, he realizes this latest victim isn't human. It's a mannequin.
What the heck?
Seeing that the mannequin has been made up to look like Lady Bird's body, Sheriff Walker checks it for fingerprints, but can't find any.
Wait, so at the real murder scene, there's fingerprints, but here, nothing? That means that there are either two killers and the mannequin slayer is doing a way better job of covering his tracks, or we've got one killer who's learning. The question now is whether the mannequin is a taunt or is a sign of something to come, maybe another murder, maybe a killer sidewalk sale.
I was the one who found her, you know.
News travels fast in Liberty, and soon everyone knows all the details of Lady Bird's murder and the mannequins.
It was awful. My best friend.
Oh, don't go fixing to lie to us, Miss Clementine. We all know you couldn't stand Lady Bird. She won more jelly competitions than you can shake a stick at. And what'd you win? First place loser? That's all. Sorry about that. I just hate how she's turning this tragedy into the Clementine show.
I understand, Dallas. But between you and me, I don't like it either. But I don't think pointing fingers and laying blame is going to help us solve this thing.
Any leads on who killed Lady Bird and that big dog yet?
No, ma'am. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. I think with all the evidence that I've collected so far, we should have this thing solved pretty soon. Meanwhile, I'd like my favorite, a piece of cherry pie, if you would.
Coming right up.
Sheriff Walker is hoping the fingerprints taken from Lady Bird's body will point to the killer. But it comes back with no matches in the police system.
So every time we catch a criminal and put them in jail, we fingerprint them and put those prints in a system. If no matches come back, that means the killer isn't known to law enforcement, making him that much harder to catch. Now police have to work the case and hope they can crack it before any more locals or mannequins have to suffer.
Come in. Hey, Wade, thanks for coming down.
No problem, Sheriff.
In a desperate need for information, Sheriff Walker turns to the man who sees and hears everything. Liberty's mailman, Wade.
So, Wade, have you seen anything suspicious around town since Lady Bird's body was dumped?
No.
My family's from a small town in Texas, and I can tell you that the person who knows all the gossip is always the mailman. So I'm laying bets on the fact that Wade here has heard everyone's secrets. He's like the town confessor, but instead of confessions, he hears all the whispers about who's having affairs and who's the secret father of whose baby. You know, all the important things.
So I really need your help on this one, Wade, before everybody in this town thinks I'm all hat and no cattle. You hear about any strangers?
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. Darlene told Carl, who told Becky Ann, told me, that the varmint in question was seen coming and going from Clementine's place.
Clementine's place.
That's right.
All right, thanks for this, Wade.
No problem, Sheriff.
Come in. Ah, Miss Clementine. Please, take a seat. Good to see you. Now, look, I don't want to get up in your business, Clementine, but I've heard some stories that varmint's staying in your place.
You better be talking about a possum, Sheriff. Because I know you ain't referring to someone staying with me as no varmint.
Well, I gotta confess, I am.
Just to set the record straight, my cousin came down from New York City, and he left 2 days before Lady Bird was killed. So he ain't no varmint, just a Yankee.
All right.
When you're living in a small town and you know everyone in it, I get wanting the murderer to be a stranger. But in most cases, victims are murdered by people they know. So it's time to stop looking outward and to start thinking about who in town could be a real corn-fed killer.
Over the next 2 months, Sheriff Walker continues interviewing locals. but no new information comes to light.
Well, don't that just snap your goddess?
There are, however, new victims, as a series of mannequin and mannequin parts are dumped around town. Every 2 weeks, just like clockwork, they show up, each more gruesome than the last.
It's not unusual for a killer to taunt police with something like notes, puzzles, even dolls, or in this case, mannequins. But usually that happens when you've got something like a serial killer. In this case, you've just got one body and no leads, so why keep dumping mannequins? No matter what the answer is, though, it's time for police to figure it out before they look like a bunch of dummies.
2 weeks later, the next call comes in, right on schedule.
Walker. What? Another one? You're right there.
At the dump site, Sheriff Walker doesn't find a mutilated mannequin, but rather Clementine, bludgeoned to death, just like Lady Bird.
Damn, this town's going to hell in a handcart.
So now we've got a second victim who looks a lot like our first. Maybe this is a serial killer after all. And between the similar victims and the mutilated mannequins, I think we're looking at someone with more issues with women than Jack the Ripper.
When Sheriff Walker examines Clementine's body, he discovers several dark hairs.
Yeah, that's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot.
Knowing these could give him a DNA profile for the killer, Sheriff Walker gathers the hairs and sends them out for testing.
Yeah, I don't think my Nana would like to join a Grannies and Guns group, but I'll ask.
With another dead body and no suspects in sight, locals start focusing on protecting themselves. Some people get guns, while others go for more unconventional methods.
Dallas, your hair.
Yeah, Clementine and Lady Bird were both blondes, so I figured better safe than sorry.
All right.
Yeah, because in this tiny town where everyone knows everything about everyone, the killer would never know who's a blonde and who isn't.
Your usual?
Let's get one to go. Gotta get back at it.
With panic sweeping the town, Sheriff Walker knows Liberty will be torn apart if he doesn't solve this case soon. He theorizes that whoever's been dumping the mannequins is most likely Lady Bird and Clementine's killer. If he can trace where the mannequins come from, then he thinks he might just catch the killer red-handed.
I don't know what's going wrong with this town.
It's a reasonable idea. The killings are the product of a sick mind. The mannequin mutilations are also the product of a sick mind. In a small town, how likely is it that you'd have two sick minds pop up at the exact same time? Remember, it's Liberty, Texas, not Hollywood.
Sheriff Walker visits every place in town with mannequins, checking to see if they are missing limbs and looking for any other relevant evidence.
Look at that.
Okay, that looks a lot like the paint on the mannequin limbs. I wonder why. Maybe, just maybe, because that is that paint. You know, I don't want to be the old man here, but in my day, we'd paint the town red, not the mannequins.
You want to talk to me about this, Winter?
Never seen it before.
Boy, you're more slippery than an eel right now.
Sheriff Walker hauls Winter, Liberty's sole goth, down to the station for questioning.
All right, Winter. You want to tell me about that paint now?
No, I do not.
A loner, Winter can't wait to graduate high school and leave town to follow his dream of becoming a funeral makeup artist.
Listen, boy, you'd be getting uppity with me if I were you.
I don't have to tell you a damn thing, Sheriff.
No, you don't. But if I were you, I'd start talking. I'm just fixing to put you in jail for the night. If you don't start talking.
Fine, it was me, Sheriff. I did it.
Wait, did the killer just confess? Seriously? All right, everyone, I guess we can all go home. No? Of course it isn't that easy. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. See that little mannequin humor? Just for you.
It was me, Sheriff. I did it. I did the mannequins. I did not do the murders, though. I'm not a serial killer.
Come on, you expect me to believe that you dumped all those mannequins just for the hell of it? Think I was born yesterday?
Everyone in this town already hates me. Why not make them sweat a little bit?
All right, then. If you're innocent, let's prove it. You wouldn't mind giving me some fingerprints, would you?
All right, fine.
To confirm Winter's story, Sheriff Walker sends out the teen's fingerprints and DNA for testing. When Winter's fingerprint and DNA results come in, they support his story. He isn't the Liberty Lady killer, just a kid with bad judgment and a dark sense of humor.
With the mannequin connection eliminated, this case just got a whole lot harder. All of a sudden, everything police think they know about the killer has to be re-examined. But cases like this are where you separate the Sherlock Holmeses from the Inspector Clouseaus.
Sheriff Walker hits a dead end with the case.
I don't know.
Until a new lead finds him.
Walker. What? You stay right there. I'm on my way.
He was right there.
All right.
When Sheriff Walker gets to Dallas's house, she reports having seen a man outside her window.
I was fast asleep, dead to the world, and then I hear this noise like glass breaking.
Walker.
Sheriff, I need you. A man's trying to break into my house.
When Sheriff Walker examines the broken window, he notices something unusual. It looks like someone has been staking out Dallas's house and dropped a box from the town's only pizzeria.
Well, damn. It's a pineapple.
There's only one person in town with such an adventurous palate. Lady Bird's husband, Buck.
Wait, after all this time, could the killer be the first person Sheriff Walker interviewed in the case? That's not possible. Buck was already cleared in his wife's murder. Could there be more than one killer here? What is wrong with this town? No, seriously, if I was living there, I'd be packing up and vamoosing.
The next morning, Sheriff Walker brings Buck back in for questioning.
Now, Buck, I know we've danced this dance before, but I'm gonna have to ask you about your activities last night, your comings and goings.
Why?
Somebody broke into Dallas's place, and all the evidence points pretty much directly back to you.
No. Listen, all right? I was having a rough night last night, but I ain't go breaking in nowhere, all right? No. Wade, he came over, we got some beers, some pizza, and we were planning on staying up all night yakking and eating, but as soon as I started yawning, I handed Wade the pizza box, told him take leftovers and just hit the road.
Wade left with the pizza and the box?
Yeah. Why does it even matter? You investigate if I'm a good enough host now, too?
No, that case is closed long ago. No, you ain't.
With Buck ruled out as the intruder at Dallas's house, Sheriff Walker brings Wade back in for questioning.
So, Wade, you're saying you were with Buck all night?
Yeah.
It's interesting. He says you left kind of early because he got tired and wanted to get to bed.
Yeah, but that was the end of my night.
So, you didn't break into Dallas's house on your way home?
can't think of why I'd want to do that.
I can, if you're a bad guy. Are you a bad guy, Wade?
No, sir. No, sir, I ain't.
But Sheriff Walker isn't convinced. He wonders if Wade could be the Liberty Lady killer.
Well, if you're gonna hang your hat on being a good guy, you wouldn't mind giving me some DNA and your fingerprints. Well, looks like you weren't being too straight with me, Wade.
When the test results come back, they confirm that Wade's prints match those on Lady Bird's leg, and his DNA matches the hair found on Clementine's body.
You're so crooked, swallow a nail and cough up a screw.
I'm sorry, Sheriff. But I just couldn't help myself.
As Sheriff Walker interrogates Wade, he learns the mailman's issues with women stem from his relationship with his mother.
Hate you. I hate you. I can't stand you. You're worthless. I wish I never given birth to you. Ah!
From the moment he came out of the womb, she verbally abused him, before finally running off with her boyfriend when Wade was just 10 years old.
I hated them. I hated my mom the most.
So here we've got a kid who was abused and abandoned by his mother at a formative age, who grows up to kill women who look like her. You know what this tells me? That this was all about Wade getting revenge on his mom for the horrible things she did to him. Since his mom wasn't around, Wade couldn't get revenge on her, so he found the next best thing. Women who reminded him of her.
Wait, my goodness, aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Thank you, ma'am.
Why don't you come on in and rest those weary feet of yours for a minute? My goodness, it's hot as Hades out there. You must be parched. Would you like some of my grandmammy's famous peach lemonade?
Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I would.
Painfully shy, Wade developed a crush on Lady Bird, the first woman in town to show him any attention.
All right, there you are, darling. That should cool you right down. Wade, what are you doing?
But when Wade steps over the line, Lady Bird explodes.
Wade, I'm talking to you. Where are your manners? What, did your mother raise you to be like this, Wade? I don't think so. You think you could just come into my house, kiss a woman, take what you want?
I hate you. I can't stand you. You're worthless. I wish I never given birth to you. Ah!
I don't think so. Wade!
Wade had his psyche damaged at a formative age. Now in his eyes, he's just been rejected again, and by a woman who's a dead ringer for his mom. Suddenly all those feelings he had growing up are flooding back, wanting to make those feelings stop and make his mom and all the women like her pay. He just snaps.
No wonder your mother left you. Why would anybody stay with you, Wade?
Shut up! You shouldn't have said that.
Wade tells Sheriff Walker that after killing Lady Bird, he got a feeling of control over his mother and his past. From then on, all he could think about was getting that feeling again, making women who look like his mother a potential target.
But the thing with serial killers, which Wade was well on his way to becoming, is that as they crave that rush of the kill more and more, they get sloppy. And that's exactly what happened when Wade couldn't resist stopping at Dallas's house on his way home from Buck's. Dallas is just lucky that she woke up when she did, because when it comes to murder victims, good things don't come in threes.
Wade is charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 of breaking and entering. At trial, he's convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
When it comes to small towns, everyone thinks they know their neighbors. But even if someone looks like Mr. Rogers, they may have the heart of Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. That's why you gotta be like a mannequin and stay on your toes.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, basketball star Jordan
Selfie?
Yes.
is a player on and off the court.
Oh.
He soon becomes the target of an obsessed cyber stalker who's hell-bent on messing with his life.
I can't believe they canceled a reservation and said I did. That's whack.
Jordan, you're cheating on me? What the hell? Oh my God.
But when the obsession turns deadly, police will have to rule out a long list of suspects to find the killer.
Dogs. And it's dogs they tell us to get fixed.
Toronto, Canada. The Six, as it's known in certain circles. Home to some of the most devoted basketball fans in the world.
Oh my God, Jordan. Jordan Crowley.
Hey, girl, what's up?
I'm sorry, such a huge fan. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. Could you sign this
Of
for
course,
me?
I could sign it.
Jordan Crowley is a rookie shooting guard for the Toronto Woodpeckers.
Jenny, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
He's enjoying all the perks that come with playing in the big leagues.
Selfie?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, man.
All right, take it easy, girl. Keisha, what's up?
After celebrating a game-high 24 points with Keisha, Jordan heads home to his live-in girlfriend, Sabrina. They met in high school and have been together ever since.
Did you get in late last night?
Yeah, I was out with a couple of the guys. Slept on the couch. I didn't want to disturb you as you were sleeping so peacefully like a princess.
Thanks, babe. Out celebrating, huh?
You know it. You know I missed you last night.
Better have.
Hey, he's a pro athlete. Not an excuse, but many have reps for being playas. They got women throwing themselves at them, sure, but they're also physically and psychologically primed to compete. And outside the court, the next best natural high to rival the thrill of competition is sex, and lots of it. And next to sex, hero worship. That's a big turn on.
It's hot. Whoops. I saw the game last night. You were awesome.
Thanks, Tessa.
But despite his penchant for the ladies, Jordan has some special plans for his relationship with Sabrina.
Yo. Yeah, make sure the diamond shines real nice. Like the sunshine, when it beams, you'll go blind. Yeah, be sure you have the ring tomorrow. All right, bet.
So you're buying an engagement ring?
Nah. Promise ring. But I hope you understand why me and you can only just be friends, right?
Yeah, totally.
You're the best.
Crap.
pressure fine?
Yeah, I guess. A lot of pressure. Oh, real intense there. Oh.
Apparently, there's a saying among pro ball players: play ball, get laid, sleep in. Jordan seems to be taking it to the utter extreme. Oh. He may be good at dodging and dribbling on the court, but this game is with real women in the real world. I have a feeling that sooner or later his winning streak is gonna flame out big time.
Jordan has no idea that he's caught the eye of a cyber stalker, obsessed with his every move. Soon after giving Sabrina the promise ring, Jordan hits a losing streak.
This is ridiculous. I can't believe they canceled a reservation and said I did it. That's whack.
Calm down, babe. It's just a stupid mix-up.
A mix-up? First it was the flowers, now this.
Oh, yeah, and then there was the airline reservations.
Feels like I'm being jinxed. This better not affect my game.
Don't tell me you're gonna start wearing your underwear inside out for the rest of the season now.
Sab, it's the only way that keeps the bad juju away. Let's go. Not happen anymore. Swear. Go.
Jordan's bad luck goes from bad to worse.
Oh, yeah, babe.
Jordan, you're cheating on me? What the hell?
Whoa, hold up. What are you talking about?
Read it.
The anonymous letter tells Sabrina to watch her back because one of Jordan's 12 other girlfriends are out to get her.
Seriously, 12 different girls? Is that what you're doing on your away games? Who's Alicia? Who's Daisy? Who are they?
Baby, that's nonsense. I would never cheat on you. You know, it's one of them tabloids be writing stuff about me just because I'm famous. You should know it's crap.
I swear?
Baby, listen. I would never cheat on you. You gotta believe me.
Just when things settle down, the calm is shattered.
Wonder what this is.
Oh my God.
What the hell? What does the letter say?
You will pay.
I know what this is. You're messing with the wrong guy.
Mysterious cancellations, anonymous letters, dead bunnies. While attention from adoring fans is flattering, this looks like it's crossed over into stalker territory. Believe it or not, there's more than one type of stalker. They're motivated for different reasons, but all of them are driven by obsession and aren't exactly mentally stable. If I were Jordan, I'd watch my back, and I don't just mean looking out for the point guard.
2 weeks after Jordan got the bunny, his frantic neighbor calls 911.
911, what's your emergency?
I just heard a weird, pop sound coming from my neighbor's house. Screaming, another pop sound, and then nothing. Something's going on. Please hurry.
But when police enter Jordan's house, it's too late.
Shots fired. One victim down. Requesting backup, I repeat, one victim down.
Talk about game over. This case just went from stalking to murder in cold blood. I don't envy the detectives on this case because anytime there's a high-profile victim involved, the pressure is intense, not to mention dealing with a media frenzy and public attention. My advice, get ready to play your best defense.
The internet lights up with the news before detectives even arrive on the scene. Hotshot basketball player Jordan Crowley's girlfriend has been found murdered in his home.
Yes, sir. I have officers stationed around the entire perimeter. I assure you, sir, nobody is getting in here on my watch. Damn social media. Nothing nobody can do about that. Poor kid.
Sabrina has been shot twice at close range. The entry wounds are from a large caliber weapon, but that doesn't match with the pop sound that the neighbor reported.
Most handguns make a really loud bang when fired, but the 911 caller said he heard a pop-pop sound, so my guess is that the murder weapon was fitted with a silencer. People who use silencers are most often pros. That tells me that this wasn't a random act.
Did you see anyone on the street? Or maybe a vehicle you didn't recognize?
Yeah, I think I saw a nun.
A nun?
Yes, in an old-fashioned nun habit, running towards a dark car sedan. Is that what you call it?
Okay. And around what time was that?
Holy sister act. Okay, a nun running away from a crime scene? Weird, but it's a great disguise for either a man or a woman. This killer is no dummy. This was very well executed. But the question is, who would want Sabrina dead? Procedure has the cops ruling out those nearest and dearest to Sabrina. Promise ring or no promise ring, Jordan is the first suspect they need to talk to.
8362, 28 to a vehicle, 900.
Detectives want to know where Jordan was during the time of the murder.
I was getting a manicure. These hands are what I do for a living. You know who I am, right?
Rest assured, Mr. Crowley, I know exactly who you are. Found this in Sabrina's purse. Do you recognize it?
Yeah, it came in the mail the other day. About it.
Ask your boyfriend, the dog, how many girls he's been doing the nasty with. I'm counting like 12 names here.
It's one-night stand thing. You know how it is.
So let me guess. Sabrina reads this, confronts you, and then you lose it on her.
Oh, hold on. That's not how it happened.
I see you have a permit to carry a gun.
No, you're tripping. I would never hurt her. I gave her a promise ring.
Well, then you won't have a problem handing it over.
Detectives seize the gun as evidence. Ballistics will run tests to determine if it's been fired recently and whether the bullets are a match to those that killed Sabrina.
And I'm assuming you have contacts for all your girlfriends in your phone? I'm gonna need your phone for evidence.
Why you have to do it like that? I got cloud access. I can just share you the info.
Or how about this? I charge you with obstruction.
Can I at least get Sad's ring back?
No can do. The killer took it from her finger.
Detectives check Jordan's alibi and find out he was telling the truth.
And you're sure it was him? Was he there with anybody else, or?
Just like he said, he was getting a manicure at a downtown salon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Ballistics has determined that the bullets taken from Sabrina's body are from a .357 Magnum. Bullets from Jordan's gun don't match, which clears him as a suspect.
Jocks. And it's dogs they tell us to get fixed.
Come on, detective, ease up. Jordan's got a lot going on. He's playing games, practicing, and juggling the ladies. You can't deny he's got stamina. His cardio workouts must be brutal. Jordan is a big basketball player with a lot of fans vying for his attention. Any of these friends could have taken their devotion too far. And this means overtime for the detective. She's got to troll through his little black book and find out who was a one-night stand, who wanted more, and who had the means and the motive. I'm tired just thinking about it.
Would you look at that? We did a search on your contacts and came across Daisy. You put a restraining order on her.
We dated for 3 months, and then she went crazy possessive on me. So I put a restraining order on her. I met her at the
Jordan
gym.
tells the detective that Daisy's a manicurist that he met at the gym. He claims that when she found out that Sabrina moved in with him, she was incensed and started to act out violently. Daisy actually confessed to police that she left the dead bunny. But when they went to question her, she denied sending Sabrina the threatening letter that listed all of Jordan's other girlfriends.
She went all basic instinct on me, so I put a restraining order on her.
You mean fatal attraction?
Come again?
Restraining orders are a nice idea, but let's face it, a piece of paper can't really protect a person from someone hell-bent on harming them or someone close to them.
Detective Sinclair looks hard at Daisy, but she soon rules her out as a suspect. She has an airtight alibi. She was taking a fitness class at the time of Sabrina's death, and there's no proof she sent the threatening letter. One possible suspect in Sabrina's murder is ruled out. Only 11 more to go. But then, the forensic examination reveals unexpected information.
Piper, great work. You're being cyber-stalked.
Being what?
Your phone has been hacked. Somebody has gone through all of your emails, all of your social media accounts, and they're also tracking your every move through GPS.
Even my notes?
Sure.
Guess I ain't getting my phone back.
Hey, at least Jordan should be happy to know he isn't jinxed. Someone had invaded his privacy and was using the data with malicious intent. Stalkers are in the harassment and intimidation game. That's likely who's been messing with his online transactions and sent the threatening letter to Sabrina. Scary, huh? What's scarier is this stalker could be anyone. And scariest, they very well could also be a cold-blooded killer.
While detectives wait for computer forensics to trace Jordan's cyberstalker, police continue to eliminate the basketball star's long list of lovers as suspects in Sabrina's murder.
Hey, anything on that IP address? Really? We got a hit?
Forensics has been able to trace the IP address of Jordan's cyberstalker.
Don't you worry, Jordan. Tessa knows how to love you.
She turns out to be number 8 in Jordan's little black book.
I got you, baby.
So Jordan definitely knows his cyberstalker, in the biblical sense too, and in my professional opinion, she cray-cray. But she's not going to be an easy collar. The police can assume that if she's the stalker, then she could be the letter writer. But even if they can trace the letter back to her, which is tough without fingerprints, they can't just pin Sabrina's murder on her. They need to prove motive, means, and opportunity. And so far, all they have on Tessa is her IP address and that she's one of Jordan's conquests.
Police dig into Tessa's background and discover she's an extremely dedicated Toronto Woodpeckers fan. They also discover that she has a history of stalking. A few years earlier, Tessa was charged with harassing a former Woodpecker player.
Hey, Gary, hi. I know you're in training, but I made your favorite chicken and waffles just for you.
That dude was so scared of his #1 fan that he begged to get traded to another team across the border. And that team didn't even make the playoffs last year. So you know Tessa must have been a nightmare.
What's wrong? Gary! Gary, you can tell me anything!
Stalking is about obsession, and usually the stalker is psychologically unstable. They're looking to fill a void in their life. So as soon as the object of Tessa's obsession was gone, she went looking for a replacement.
Soon after Jordan's drafted to the Woodpeckers,
Huge fan of the team, always have been, but you're like my favorite player right now.
Tessa sets her sights on the rookie and does whatever she can to get close to him.
Cool.
Yeah? And I just have to show you, I got this.
Oh,
Look at
wow.
that.
I really like it. It's real nice.
Would you sign this for me?
Oh, of course. What can make it up to?
Tessa.
Tessa, huh?
Yeah.
Ah, cute name for a beautiful girl like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Damn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I have a hug?
Oh, sure.
Oh.
Here you go. Okay. Well, I'll catch you later.
No, I give massages.
Massages?
I'm like a masseuse. So if you just call there, I'll give you a discount.
Oh, might take you up on that.
Oh, okay.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
When detectives check into Tessa's hot stone massage business, they discover that it's a front. She doesn't have the proper certification, and Jordan is her only client.
Instead of asking him on a date, she invents an entire business. The lengths some stalkers will go to get close to their target. Tessa is what's called an intimacy seeker. They'll identify a person, often a complete stranger, as their true love and start to act like they're in a romantic relationship with them. If she believed that Sabrina was threatening her romance with Jordan, she could have eliminated her as a rival. But police need solid evidence if they're going to prove it.
Working undercover, detective sees Tessa's garbage, hoping to find any incriminating evidence.
Whew. I should have listened to my mama. I would have been a kick-ass actuary.
Oh, I love the smell of rotting garbage in the morning. Once I was ankle deep in open sewage but we found the evidence that clinched the case. Dumpster diving is a basic, if literally dirty, part of police work. Once someone puts their garbage on the curb for pickup, it's fair game. Police don't need a warrant to seize it. They just need strong stomachs.
Dang.
Okay, first thing, Tessa clearly does not separate her organic garbage from her recycling. And second, she clearly doesn't understand the concept of shredding incriminating evidence. She bought a book on how to make a silencer. Sabrina was likely killed with a gun with a silencer. Smart? Nope. This looks suspicious, but the police still need to prove that she actually made a silencer and put her at the scene of the crime. So plug your nose, it's back to more dumpster diving.
Sifting through Tessa's trash and background, detectives find Tessa has a .357 Magnum registered in her name, the same type of gun used to kill Sabrina. In her trash, they find hardware store receipts for items to make a gun silencer. And lastly, they discover the vehicle neighbors saw her driving away from the crime scene is a match to one Tessa rented on the day of the murder.
The police have done their homework, but what they've really got is a lot of circumstantial evidence. Without a weapon or a confession, they got nothing. If they haul Tessa in for questioning, they could risk blowing the case. But if they can get a confession without her suspecting, then it'll be a slam dunk and could lead to a conviction. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
I have some good news. I think I found Sabrina's killer. All evidence points to Tessa.
For real? Girl's practically scared of her own shadow. Though there was something off about her. You know what I'm saying? She was always dropping those hot stones.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna need you to wear a wire.
Say what again?
We need to get her confession on tape. So here's the plan. You invite her over, treat her all sweet, nice, and she'll talk. She trusts you.
I don't know.
Trust me, it will work, and it's the only way.
Fine. Okay.
Ready to put your game face on?
Let's do it.
The next night, detectives monitor from a parked van outside. Jordan tries to get Tessa to spill the beans.
Let's go. Ready for some shots?
You bad boy. I'm already drunk.
But let's drink up to a new life.
Cheers.
Whoa. You know, I'm happy I'm a free agent now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I know.
With Sav gone, I could be with the woman I always wanted to. With you.
She was a gold digger. She was playing with your... She was just playing with your mind.
I know that.
That's why I did it.
Did what? Oh, come on, you can tell me anything.
Hate to admit it, but Jordan has the knack. She's practically eating out of his hand. Maybe he should consider quitting the NBA and go to work for the police department.
Tell me.
I wrote the note.
You wrote the note?
I wanted Sabrina to break up with you. And I know why you broke up with me.
You made a big mistake doing that.
But I understand it was part of the plan so that you and I could be together.
But when Sabrina didn't storm out as hoped, and Jordan ended their relationship shortly afterwards, Tessa decided she had no other option than to kill Sabrina.
Tessa is a rare case because the majority of stalkers are men and very few actually kill. But it all comes down to control. When Jordan cut her off, Tessa's self-worth hit rock bottom, and she blamed Sabrina. Tessa essentially transferred her love obsession for Jordan to a hate obsession for Sabrina. And the only way to get rid of her hate and anger was to kill the person responsible for it. Make sense? Yeah, I know. But then again, we're talking stalker sense, and it sounds reasonable to them.
Disguised in an old-fashioned nun costume she'd once worn on Halloween, she attached the silencer she made to her .357 Magnum. She drove a rented car to Jordan's house and waited for him to exit before she moved in.
Who are you?
Why are you doing this?
Tessa, you're under arrest for the murder of Sabrina.
What? Jordan, what is going on?
Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
But I love you, and I would have been the best girlfriend that you ever would have had.
Tessa is found guilty of murder and sentenced to 25 years to life.
Tessa was methodical, meticulous, and a maniac. She really believed that she had a future with Jordan. But when you're a stalker, you're not rational. You just aren't psychologically able to function in the real world and have an actual relationship.
Still got it.
That kind of describes a certain NBA player, doesn't it? Hopefully, he's learned a lesson.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. on this episode of Bizarre Murders.
What was that?
When a loving husband barely escapes an attack on his life, the authorities think it was a random incident.
Oh, Lord.
But the husband is convinced he's a man marked for death.
You're a dead man, Gary.
Is he on a downward spiral of paranoid delusion?
My days are numbered.
Or is there really a killer lurking around the corner, waiting to finish the job?
It's the devil. The devil's coming for poor old Gary.
Gary and Leonie are high school sweethearts, looking forward to celebrating their 8th wedding anniversary.
Something sure smells lovely.
I've been baking cupcakes.
It's a beautiful morning, honey. Did you make us reservations at the bowling alley?
Sure did. I got us a surprise for dinner, too. We're all set.
That's my gal.
But, Gary, I was thinking, I could really use a new dress for dinner.
Well, I suppose it is our anniversary.
Thank you, sweetie. Hands off. Those are for the church outreach.
All right, all right.
Gary runs a small construction company, while Leonie is a dedicated homemaker with a passion for baking.
I'll see you later.
They're active members of the community, upright folks who never miss Sunday service and steer clear of vices like alcohol and gambling. Gary coaches youth football on weekends, while Leonie spends her spare time helping out the less fortunate.
Hey! Hey, you! Get back here, you rascal! That does it. This time I'm calling the sheriff. That's the 4th time this month, bud. There's a pervert on the loose.
Now, don't fret, Leonie. We'll catch the panty phantom.
The what? Really, bud?
We've had our crack surveillance unit on a suspect for a while now. Just kidding. But I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I just got to get him red-handed. You're not the only one in this town who's had some undergarments go missing.
Well, I'm sure you'll get your man, bud.
Well, you can count on it.
Sheriff Arnold's is your typical small-town lawman, the kind of guy who'd rustle up a posse to catch a fugitive and rescue your cat from a tree the same day. Sure, his department's small, but what he lacks in resources, he makes up for with the personal touch. In his town, he is the law, and everyone knows it. And aside from the odd panty thief, almost everyone respects the law as he lays it down. But no town is 100% free from serious crime, and Arnold's town is no different.
Gary and Leonie return from their anniversary night out in high spirits.
3 doubles and a turkey. It doesn't get much better than that.
Don't let it get to your head, dear.
What was that? Wait here, honey.
But their celebration suddenly becomes a nightmare when they find a stranger in their house.
Gary! Are you alive? Help! Somebody help me! It's Leonie Culpepper. Someone just tried to kill Gary at our house. Get the sheriff.
Talk about a close call. I mean, finding some guy armed with a gun in your house usually doesn't end well. And despite what you might see on TV, guns actually don't jam all that often. So Gary's a very lucky man.
in the Sam Hill happened?
Gary and Leone tell Sheriff Arnold's they must have interrupted a burglary and that a man in a mask was going to shoot them.
He looked like a heathen devil, but the Lord intervened and jammed up that gun of his.
Amen, honey. Jesus had our backs tonight.
Whoever it was looks like he helped himself to a snack. Anything else missing?
Why, he took my mother's gold rim coffee service. I mean, is nothing sacred?
That it?
Well, Bud, some of the underwear is missing from my laundry line.
What? You gotta be kidding me. Well, unless panty steal is getting contagious around here, looks like someone just crossed the line into felony territory.
You said the other day you knew that was, right?
I said I was pretty sure. But I'm gonna haul his ass in and make sure.
Now, normally you'd need something more than the say-so of a witness to arrest somebody, say, probable cause or a warrant from a judge. But sheriffs have a lot of leeway when it comes to how they enforce the law, especially in small towns like this. And no one's gonna argue when the boss wants to sit you down for a chin wag.
See, Mr. Sheriff, I've tried to stop. I have. You see, I just don't know, Sheriff. You know, I see them panties and I just gotta take them, you know? Just gotta take them.
It doesn't take long for Sheriff Arnold's suspect to cave.
Okay, now. That's a good start. Listen up. Stealing ladies' panties, undergarments, excuse me. That's one thing. But breaking and entering, assault with a deadly weapon, maybe attempted murder, that's a whole different ballgame, son.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what you're talking about.
But the thief says he was working a double shift at a local hog processing plant when Gary was attacked. And a quick call to the factory manager confirms the suspect's alibi.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, bye now. That's mighty strange. How many panty snatchers can there be in one town? Well, we ain't done here yet. Maybe a couple of nights in my guest suite will cure you of that thieving habit of yours. Stand up.
Our sheriff thought he'd close this case faster than a scalded cat, as they say in Texas. But things ain't ever that simple, and now he's got some serious worry. 'Cause in a small town like this, word gets around. Not only is there a gunman at large, but everybody knows it, and they're looking to Arnold's to catch him. It's all part of being the biggest lawman in town.
In the days following the attack, Gary becomes increasingly afraid that his attacker will return, so he takes steps to protect himself.
Gary, that you? I got you some medication to help you sleep, dear. Gary, what's that?
Can't rely on Jesus alone, sweetie. So I got this here peacemaker. Got to look out for my own self.
Well, just don't bring it to the dinner table. It makes me nervous. Here, take one of these.
You can't blame a guy in this situation for arming up. Hell, I would. A man's house is his castle, after all, and for all Gary knows, the masked marauder could be fixing to come back and get rid of the witnesses. But it's a fine line between being on high alert and seeing enemies everywhere.
Unable to shake the fear that the man in the mask will come back, Gary's nerves start to unravel.
Dear Lord, please help the sheriff catch that man. Who's there? I got a gun. I'll shoot if I have to. Oh, Lord.
the days go by with no news from Sheriff Arnold's, Gary's fear starts to get the better of him. He barricades himself at home, hopefully safe from the outside world.
Hello?
You're a dead man, Gary. I'm coming for you. Your days are numbered. Your soul is mine. Look outside.
Sweet Jesus. It's the devil. The devil's coming for poor old Gary. Oh, Lord. Satan's got my number. Oh, Lord.
Yep, it sure looks like someone's out to get Gary, or at least mess with his head big time. From where I'm standing, this looks like a classic stalker situation. Now, a lot of stalkers don't actually want to kill their victims. I mean, then all the fun would be over, right? But as far as Gary's concerned, his days really are numbered, and that'll put the scare into anybody.
Now he thinks the devil himself is on his tail, bud. It's just too much to bear.
As her husband falls apart, Leonie seeks consolation and answers from Sheriff Arnold's.
I'm telling you, Leonie, it's probably just a drifter. Chances are he skipped town. He's long gone. I've seen it before.
Try telling Gary that.
Has he been to a head shrinker yet?
He won't leave the house. But what if Gary's right? I mean, the mask, the bullets, he keeps getting those calls.
To my mind, it's probably just kids. Saw you guys on the news, getting some cheap thrills out of scaring y'all.
I'm more scared of Gary than some bunch of kids. He's deranged, but he's not himself. Sheriff, he bought a gun and he's taken to the bottle.
Well, nothing wrong with a little nip now and again. But guns and whiskey's not a good combination. You're right about that. So, I'd hide his whiskey and find a shrink that does house calls, or call in the pastor, or both.
Even if it is all a bad joke, Arnold's in a tricky predicament because these cases are notoriously hard to investigate. Whoever's tormenting poor Gary is operating at a distance, and with no leads on who attacked him, Arnold's basically investigating a case of prank calls and Nicky Nine Doors. But that assault caused a crack in Gary's mind, and I'd say he's in real danger of breaking down completely. Arnold's might be the law around here, but he's no psychiatrist. There's not a whole hell of a lot he can do.
My days are numbered.
But I don't know what to do. He's getting worse. I'm afraid he'll do something to me.
Now, why don't you come on down to the office? I can send a patrol car around.
Escape? My days are numbered. Hey, who are you talking to?
Leonie, what's going on?
Is it him?
No, no, no. No, honey, remember what the pastor told you. Keep the Lord close to your heart. Yes. Give me the gun. Okay.
No, I need that. Give it back. I need it. I need that.
Step away.
I need that. Give me that.
Ow, you're hurting me. Ah!
Criminy!
When Sheriff Arnold's arrives at the scene, he fears the worst.
Oh, Lord.
But the situation isn't what he was expecting.
Put the gun down. Put the gun down on the floor.
Gary attacked me. Forgive me, Jesus. I didn't mean to do.
Yeah, Betty, it's Arnold's. I'm gonna need backup and ambulance right away. Got a male gunshot victim. Vital signs absent. Roger. Everything's gonna be just fine, Leonie. Why don't you come on down to the station and we'll talk about what just happened.
Jesus might forgive Leonie, but the law still has to make up its mind. You don't just say, it's a shame Gary took 2 in the chest, and go home. You know, a lot of people ask me about the self-defense thing, and if I'm honest, there's no hard and fast rule, because every situation's different. Whatever went down in that kitchen, Leonie's still got a lot of explaining to do.
Now, darling, I know you must feel lower than a gopher hole. But why don't you tell me how it all went down?
I was on the phone with you and he just snapped. Oh, God.
Leonie tells Sheriff Arnold's that she had no choice but to defend herself.
I knew he was going to kill me. He came at me with a gun, but I managed to get it away. But then it went off.
It went off twice.
The first one was an accident, but it didn't stop him. He had the strength of 10 men. So I fired a second shot.
It's a crying shame. Crying shame.
What happens now?
Well, we're processing the scene. The coroner's got to weigh in. The prosecutor. But from where I sit, you did what you had to do.
Sad to say, but we in law enforcement hear Leonie's story all the time. A woman who's forced to defend herself from her violent husband. And around these parts, good luck finding a jury that'll take issue with using a gun to do it. I'm not saying it's a one-horse race, but the chances of Leonie doing any time for taking down her delusional husband are pretty slim.
Gary's death is ruled accidental by the coroner, and no charges are laid against Leonie.
He was a good man, Bud.
God bless him. He was a good man.
With Gary now laid to rest, Sheriff Arnold's closes the case.
And bless this food, O Lord, so that it may nourish our body and soul. Amen.
I do so love your manly praying voice, dear.
With Gary's generous life insurance policy, Leonie starts rebuilding her life.
Now, what was the surprise you said you had for me?
She eventually meets a new man at church, a successful car salesman named Ralph. After a brief courtship, they get married, and Ralph moves into Leonie's house.
A sedan! Oh, Ralph, you should have. You're so good to me.
What can I do for you, son? Well, Sheriff, I'm here about Leonie Culpepper.
What about Leonie?
The man says his name is Colton. He's a long-haul trucker and an old acquaintance of Leonie's.
Back before she settled down, mind you, Sheriff. Let's just say Leonie and me, we used to shoot the lights out something fierce, if you get my meaning. But these days, well, I think she's fixing to shoot something else. Or should I say somebody? You still going to church?
Sure am.
Dang, Leonie, you're looking hotter than a firecracker.
And you're just as handsome as ever, ain't you, Colty?
What do I owe the pleasure?
Colton claims Leonie contacted him recently about some work she needed done, and he'd driven down from Houston to talk it over.
You'll make a lot of money, honey pie. And there may be more than just money in it for you, if you do a good job.
Colton reveals that Leonie asked him to kill her second husband, Ralph.
You don't care how exactly. Just that it gets done.
Well, hell's bells, son. That's quite a yarn. How do I know you just ain't yanking my chain?
Because she paid me $5 large up front, sir.
Colton says he had no intentions of killing anyone, but just in case Leone thought he'd turn her in, he pretended to go along with the plan.
I come straight here. She got war paint on, Sheriff. I swear.
Just when you think you know someone, bam. Turns out they're the devil in disguise. A cupcake baking housewife hiring a hitman sounds pretty unlikely. But Arnold's is looking at Leone in a whole different light now, and he's wondering just how accidental Gary's death really was. Looks like the long-closed case of Gary and the man in the mask just got reopened.
When are you supposed to see her next?
Matter of fact, I'm supposed to see her this afternoon.
Well, if all this is true, and I ain't saying that it is, then I got a job for you too, boy. You know what a wire is?
To find out if he's telling the truth, Sheriff Arnold's has Colton wear a wire to record his meeting with Leone.
You're good and deputized now. I want you to record everything, you hear?
Yeah, I hear you.
Now, if you're pulling a fast one, I swear, I'll sizzle your bacon.
Throwing some untrained hayseed into a murder-for-hire case seems pretty dumb, right? But it actually happens all the time. Not all confidential informants are pros, and that can be a good thing because when you need your suspect to incriminate themselves, you don't want your CI to have any whiff of the law on them. And you'd be amazed what some crooks will say once they trust you.
I just knew I could count on you, Colty.
While Ralph is at work, Leone and Colton discuss how to best take him out.
Well, shooting him is probably easiest. Just make sure he's dead. The last guy screwed up real bad.
Last guy?
At first, Colton thinks Leone means she tried to take out Ralph once before, but he quickly realizes she's talking about Gary. Leone tells Colton that being married to Gary was like living in a cage, and the only way out was to get rid of him for good. And she'd found the perfect person for the job, somebody no one would suspect. The plan was simple: give the vagrant a gun, a disguise, and a key to the house, and tell him to make it look like a break-in. But her man botched the job. When the gun jammed and the would-be killer fled, Leone knew she had a problem on her hands.
So now Leone has to stall an attempted murder investigation until she thinks of another way to get Gary out of the picture. You talk about your first world problems. She tries to pin suspicion on the panty phantom, but the guy has an alibi and Gary now has a gun of his own. She can't exactly ask the homeless dude to give it another try. I mean, he's long gone anyhow. So what's a wife who wants her husband dead to do?
He screwed up real bad. So I just had to kill stupid old Gary myself.
Leone's admission on the wire brings Sheriff Arnold's calling with an arrest warrant.
So much for self-defense. But why, Leone? Gary was a good man.
He might have been a good man, but he was a cheap son of a bitch. He'd squeeze a dollar bill till Washington hollered. I wanted more, Bud. Like dinner out more than once a year. But Gary just didn't care. His life was pouring concrete and coaching ball.
Leone says that depending on Gary for money was suffocating her, but divorce was out of the question. She risked being left with nothing. Gary, however, had a life insurance policy worth $250,000.
So you're saying that Gary was worth more dead than he was alive?
That's about the all of it, Bud.
Get the sheriff!
Leone tells Sheriff Arnold's that when the homeless hitman failed to kill Gary, she needed a new plan. And Gary's reaction to the assault gave her an idea. Leone spread the word that Gary was becoming increasingly unstable.
I just don't know, Pastor. I got him some sleeping pills, but they just don't work. He's been pacing all night. I've been scared for my safety.
Leonie realized that if she took advantage of Gary's fear that someone wanted him dead, she could lay out the groundwork for a claim of self-defense before killing him herself. So Leonie kept the pressure on until Gary was close to snapping.
You're a dead man, Gary. I'm coming for you. Your days are...
You're numbered and your soul is mine.
There's an old Ingrid Bergman movie called Gaslight about a guy who tries to convince his wife that she's going insane in order to cover up a murder he'd committed years before. And that's exactly what Leonie does. She gaslights her husband, manipulating his paranoia to make him think there's a killer around every corner. And as an added bonus, if Gary ever figures out it's Leonie all along, he'll have no credibility. In any case, it wouldn't be hard for anyone to believe Gary was capable of attacking Leonie and that she would defend herself accordingly. Even I have to admit it was a brilliant plan.
How does Ralph figure in all this?
Well,
Leonie tells Sheriff Arnolds that when Gary's insurance money started to run out, she started looking around for another husband with a good insurance policy.
Besides, Bud, once I got a taste of living by my own rules, I just knew I couldn't go back. At least not for long.
Why didn't you just get a job like regular folk?
Doing what? Cupcakes make you fat, not rich.
So you figured you'd married Ralph and get away with murder a second time, huh?
It worked once. Why not?
You're a real piece of work, Leonie. You had us all fooled, make no mistake. But you're going to prison for life if you're getting a day. And that's something you can hang your apron on. Now stand up.
Leonie's charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy. Sentenced to life without parole, she consoles herself by volunteering in the prison kitchen.
You know, pushing someone over the edge ain't easy, even when they're already halfway there. It takes the kind of planning only a psychopath is capable of. Gary might have been bugging out, but he wasn't crazy. He knew in his bones someone was out to get him. He just didn't realize it was his own wife. Leonie fooled a lot of people, but she couldn't get away with it forever, because here's the thing. You just can't gaslight the law. Sooner or later, we'll see behind the mask, and you'll be behind bars.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised.
The owner of a local restaurant is shot dead and an armed robbery gone awry. His beloved pet parrot is stolen by a customer who meets her fate at the hands of the robber. Now, there are 2 dead bodies, and the only witness has feathers and a beak. Polly want a cracker? Living peacefully in his small apartment just down the street from his diner, small business owner Morty Nelson rises from bed and starts to get ready for his day. With no close family, the first thing he does every day is say hello to his only companion, a talkative parrot named Crackers.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Morty has devoted his life to his pet, spending the past 7 years teaching Crackers a multitude of tricks and words.
Let's go.
Even renaming his restaurant the Birdcage Bar and Grill in Crackers' honor. Morty opens the diner with his cook Pedro, expecting a slow afternoon. He places crackers on his perch in the corner, hoping that the bird's charm will bring in some customers.
Literally need you to talk me up some business today, okay?
Ever since his adoption, Crackers has become a local celebrity.
Hey, Crackers. What's up, Crackers?
Hey, Birdie.
Que lindo estás, Crackers.
And Morty has even trained his bird to greet returning patrons by name, making him the highlight of meals for many customers.
Oh, such a cutie. Being a celebrity, any kind of celebrity, even a local celebrity like Crackers, it's kind of a double-edged sword because people want to come around you, they want to flock to you, and that's good and bad because sometimes some of those people are shady. And when those shady people get involved in your life, sometimes things go bad, and they go bad quickly. Right, Crackers?
On this Friday afternoon, Morty realizes that this is the second month in a row in which business has been slower than usual. He sends his cook home, afraid he won't have enough money to pay him for a full day's work. Just an hour later, Morty is fixing up a dessert for an old patron in the diner, a beautiful woman named Regina DeLang, who has taken a liking to Crackers. As Morty heads back to the kitchen to wash some plates, a man enters the diner. He looks to Regina and flashes a sultry smile. Despite not knowing him, she smiles back. But when Morty returns from the kitchen, the man pulls out a gun and shoots Morty dead. Before Regina can scream, the man turns and points the gun at her. "Not a peep," he says with his glare. The man goes straight to the money box behind the counter and grabs all the cash. Regina watches, silent, terrified. It's Crackers who begins to shout. The man shoots the parrot a murderous glance, but Crackers shouts on. So, he shoots the parrot a cold, hard bullet. He misses, but Crackers shuts up. The man approaches Regina and asks for her license. He takes a look and gives her a parting gift. If she tells anyone about the murder, he will track her down and kill her.
I'm not gonna tell anyone!
Then he winks and disappears. Regina quickly pulls out her purse, pays for her meal in cash, grabs Crackers, and runs home. When Regina reaches her apartment, she picks up the phone to call the police, but then puts it down. She remembers he will kill her if she talks.
Everyone reacts differently to traumatic events, and this lady had no idea that staying for dessert was going to drag her into a homicide. And the icing on this cake is that her life will be threatened if she calls the police.
And what about Crackers, she thinks? She decides she'll keep him until police are able to solve Morty Nelson's murder on their own.
In her confused stupor, Regina made a significant mistake. She took something that was recognizable by anybody in town. So what does she do? She can't give it to somebody because they'll know immediately who it is. And here's the problem. If you've seen a murder and you don't report it, you could be considered an accessory after the fact.
Police arrive at the restaurant and begin an investigation. On the case is Detective Laura Brewer, a new transfer from a district in Harlem. Brewer leads the charge in search for evidence, but the bar and grill doesn't offer much. There are no security cameras to capture what took place, no eyewitnesses, and police can't decide on a motive. What was the initial target of the robbery? Was it the cash missing from the money box, or was it the famous bird in the window?
Police have seen it all. They've seen people kill for drugs, for memorabilia, even for small amounts of cash. Everything has a price tag, so they can't rule out the thought that somebody killed for crackers.
Detective Brewer discovers her only clue on a table, a half-eaten cupcake, a bill overpaid in cash. a seemingly random bullet hole from above Cracker's perch, and bright orange lipstick on a coffee cup.
These are clues that lead to a number of different and conflicting conclusions. If this was a robbery, why was the money left over? And why did the person massively overpay? Second, if the robbery was intended to secure the bird, then why did they shoot at it? And now that they've got it, does that mean the bird could be dead by now? Everything in this case seems to be pointing to one conclusion. The person who killed Morty was there to steal crackers.
After Detective Brewer collects the evidence, she turns to the body of Morty Nelson. She thoroughly inspects him to see if there were any clues left behind. But she finds nothing. The clock is ticking. Brewer has to act fast to find the killer before he strikes again. Detective Brewer knows that bright orange lipstick is worn by very few women, and she begins asking neighbors to the diner if they were aware of any woman who wears that particular shade.
Police!
Hours of door-to-door interviews finally give way to a name, Regina DeLange, a woman known in the area for being eccentric. Neighbors all offer fantastical stories about Regina, but despite all the hoopla surrounding her personality, not a single person who knows Regina knows where she lives. And the police have no address for her listed.
Sometimes it's better not to have a witness at all than have one who's certifiably crazy. But Detective Brewer needs to find this woman and make a decision, because it's very possible this woman isn't crazy. She's just eccentric.
Meanwhile, back at her apartment, Regina is having difficulty taking care of Crackers.
Want to try a granola bar? Whoa, you look scared.
She can't get him to eat anything, and worse still, she doesn't know what to feed him. But things take a dark turn when she receives a mysterious phone call. The voice sounds like the killer at the Birdcage Bar and Grill.
These are Regina's worst fears confirmed. The killer is making good on his promises, and she can't ignore him anymore.
After a few minutes of seemingly normal chit-chat, the killer says he's going to come over to her house so they can cook dinner because she owes him for not killing her. If she refuses, he'll burn down her apartment building.
At this point, Regina does not have much going for her. I mean, she doesn't know the guy's name. She doesn't even know where he lives. She got nothing for the police. And she's afraid that they might not believe her anyway because she was the one who took the bird. So if she then goes and accepts this guy's plan instead of going to the police, though, there's something wrong with her brain chemistry.
Regina dances around the man's request for as long as she can, trying to form a plan of action, but the more they talk, the more he turns on the charm. In just a few minutes, Regina's guard is down, and she jokes with the killer. She asks if he has any plans to kill her when he comes over, and he says he only wants his thank you dinner, and then he'll be on his way. Regina hesitates, and then agrees to the dinner if he promises she will not be harmed. Just before he arrives, Regina suddenly worries that if the killer sees Crackers again, he could be enraged. She stuffs Crackers into a kitchen cabinet and tells him to shut up.
Okay, bye, sweetie, bye, Crackers. Whew.
Minutes later, the killer arrives to Regina's apartment with a bag of groceries, and he tells her he will help her cook a gourmet Italian dinner. The two cook dinner, making conversation and having a good time. Regina's guard continues to drop, and he feeds her baby tomatoes. Her attraction to him grows stronger and stronger. They continue to spend the evening flirting and laughing, a budding romance between them.
Toast.
Over dinner, the man begins to allude to the reasons why he killed Morty, claiming that Morty had a terrible secret and debt that cost him his life. But the man says he's done killing. That was his last one.
This is easily the most bizarre day in Regina's life, and that's saying a lot. She's just cooked dinner for a man who's killed somebody, and now she's considering kissing him.
The killer asked Regina if the police ever visited her with questions about Morty. Regina is quick to tell him that she has stayed home all day, and she hasn't talked to anyone but him since she got back to her apartment.
I promise you. I pinky swear.
Regina has just made a potentially fatal mistake. She's let the killer know that she is the last and only witness.
Thank you very much.
I have some dessert that I brought.
I love desserts.
He gets out of his seat and pulls a pair of plastic gloves from a grocery bag, telling Regina that he wants to make her a special European dessert, but that he needs the gloves in case things get sticky.
I'm done.
You're gonna love it.
I'm sure I'm gonna love it.
As Regina listens, the killer quickly spins around and jabs a knife into her stomach, covering her mouth with his free hand. The killer slowly slumps Regina over the kitchen table. He runs back to the bag and withdraws a fake suicide letter and places it on the kitchen table. Hours later, Detective Brewer finally tracks down where Regina lives. She knocks on the door. No one answers. Upon entering Regina's home, Detective Brewer stumbles on a gruesome sight. A fairly new crime scene in which Regina DeLange has major stab wounds and is dead. Brewer quickly takes a first look over Regina, only to hear something chattering from a nearby cabinet. Inside, she finds crackers and immediately puts the bird on the counter as he keeps saying, "Robber, robber." After calming the bird down, Detective Brewer turns her attention to the suicide note on the kitchen table. A quick reading lets her know that the note is a cover-up. The letter has been typed instead of handwritten.
This guy is a major overachiever, yet still a minor idiot. If you come to a scene where somebody's dead and there's a typed suicide note, it's always suspicious because people tend to write out their last thoughts, and somebody who types it is probably trying to hide their own handwriting.
To make matters even more suspicious, Detective Brewer's quick search of Regina's apartment shows that she doesn't even own a computer or typewriter. But Brewer does find a stick of orange lipstick in Regina's bathroom. This means they're on the right path.
Now they've cleared up a few things. The killer was actually after whatever was in Morty's cash box, and they could care less about the bird. Otherwise, they would have taken it when they left Regina's house. The one thing they know for certain is that there's still a killer out there, and they need a break in this case.
Detective Brewer quickly tosses out the theory that Regina committed suicide. Now, her only clue may lie with Crackers, who continues to shriek. Out of leads, Detective Brewer goes over her case file one more time.
It's gotta be feeling pretty impossible for the detectives at this point. I mean, this was a really messy murder and there's a lot of evidence, but none of it ties together.
But as Brewer watches forensic experts go over Crackers with a comb for any physical evidence, she listens closely as Crackers continuously shrieks, "Robber, robber." Brewer finds it odd that out of all the words that Morty would have taught his parrot, that he would have taught him robber, as it would be a word the parrot would really never use. She remembers from an interview with the diner's cook that Morty taught Crackers the names of certain customers. That way they could be greeted when they entered the restaurant.
And suddenly, it clicks. They might have their best clue right in front of them.
Brewer posits that Crackers is not saying robber at all, but is actually saying the name, Robert. On a hunch, she races back to the bar and finds a number of receipts from the past few days on the counter. She thinks Morty must have known his killer, which is why he was killed instead of just robbed.
It's a crazy Hail Mary kind of hunch, but when somebody is on the loose out there killing people, you have to follow every lead.
Brewer finds a number of Roberts in the receipts and quickly scans the names in the police database to see if any had previous run-ins with the law. One, Robert Penny committed a string of assaults and a number of past jobs that included him working with mafia types as an enforcer. Lately, it had been rumored that Penny's newest business venture involved extracting money from small business owners who take loans out with gangs. Detective Brewer sets out to find Robert Penny.
When you've got a rap sheet as long as Robert Penny's, guess what? You go right to the top of the suspect list. Congratulations. And Detective Brewer is thinking, you know, if Penny isn't actually the killer, he hangs around with a community of people who probably knows who did it.
Brewer learns that he works part-time at a department store. In under an hour, she's able to find him and bring him in for questioning.
So now Detective Brewer has to be careful. Her prime witness is a bird, a pretty bird. But imagine trying to take that to trial. You're gonna walk into the court and try not to be laughed out of the room by the judge and the jury.
So where were you the morning?
Brewer hammers Robert on his whereabouts the morning of Morty Nelson's death. But Penny's only alibi is that he was out for a morning walk. She questions him about his whereabouts later that night when Regina was killed.
I probably went home and took a nap.
The detective continues to hit him hard in questioning. Who takes a nap at 7 o'clock at night? When was the last time he visited Morty's restaurant? Finally, Brewer nails Robert with the question she's been hoping to ask him all along. Did you murder Morty Nelson? Robert denies any wrongdoing, saying,
You don't have any evidence. You don't have any witnesses. You don't have anything against me. You have to let me go.
But Detective Brewer plays a hand that leaves Robert stunned. She tells him that the fatal mistake he made was that he left a witness behind who successfully ID'd him.
This is an incredibly risky thing for a detective to do because she's given Robert all the information he needs to make sure he walks on this crime. All he has to do is play it smart because all Detective Brewer has is the testimony of a parrot.
Detective Brewer can see Robert turn pale. She thinks she can hook him as long as she keeps the witness ambiguous enough. Meanwhile, Robert is thinking, who did he miss? Was someone in the kitchen, the bathroom, or are they here watching him?
Fine, I will tell you everything.
Robert finally cracks under the pressure and admits he killed Morty and stole the cash, because Morty had not been making payments to Robert's bosses for nearly 18 months. After his confession, Detective Brewer asks Robert if he would like to face the individual who ID'd him at the scene of the crime. Scoffing, Robert obliges, wanting to see who would be at his mercy if he was ever released from prison. Brewer takes Penny out of the interrogation room, where he sees Crackers in a cage. The bird instantly begins yelling, Robert! Robert! Robert is stunned, a mix of anger and frustration at his being duped by a detective and a bird. But he knows that his confession has already put him away for good.
This is the kind of case that's solved only by a creative, even an imaginative detective. And what's ironic about this is while Robert Penny is going to be rotting behind bars for the rest of his life, Crackers has escaped. Crackers is going to live the rest of his life at a bird sanctuary. Never again behind bars, never again a jailbird.